You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
2-1. Gallagher over second into center. 2 more in for North Carolina. And Gavin Gallagher does it again in a big game.
When I say he's a big leaguer, he's a big leaguer. He's going to be a 4 for 4 today. This is going to be a triple right here.
5-iron into the corner and a triple for Hall, who was thinking about going to the plate. Hit well, right field. French backs up onto the track to make the catch. And Carolina is championship bound. Well, he got one there. Fielded cleanly. Can Johnson make the play? Oh, wow, what a play by Johnson. And Tonke at first. This ball is tagged to right field. Gamble. Gone. Doesn't go. This one is also tagged in right field. Harris. History.
Good morning. Welcome in. Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Mayo Medical. That's Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. What's up? What's up, Austin? How
What
we
is
doing?
up, Austin?
What is up, Austin?
What is up, Bob? Look at us. Jeez, look what you've done to me.
We're doing so
I
good
think our
this morning.
brains are so fried. Listen, I just want to get this off my chest.
Yeah. Explode all over your chest.
I saw the text last night from our fearless leader, Sasha.
Yeah.
At
But I have
10:30.
to yell at you guys.
I saw it at 10:30. She said, all hands on deck. We could all get a day off tomorrow.
Mhm.
If we all we get a couple extra people to help post. I put my phone down and I went to bed. So I said, you know what? That's for someone else. That's not for me.
Well, you have to work today anyway.
That is true.
because we're here.
That is. And
We
we
are
got 7
here.
on 7 today.
We do
You're
have
going?
Yeah, I'm going.
Okay.
That was one of the many reasons that
You're going
I
to beat me
was
there. You're going to make me do post-show stuff here. And you're going to head out, aren't you?
Well, let me look at the times that I need to be there because I might
Okay.
hang out here for a little bit. So, my first level of interest occurs at 11 with Westside, where they'll play Millard West. So, I'm going to try and get there by 11. That
Okay.
way I can see both Westside games, and then I'll see both Millard South games. And then if I plan this right, I should get to see. Now, Millard North is going to play 3 times. Is that right?
For pool play?
That seems too many. Yeah, they will play. Oh, okay. So Westside actually starts at 10, and then they get a gap, and then they play 2 in a row. So I won't
Gotcha.
get the first Westside game. I'll get the second 2. I'll get all 3 Millard South games, and I'll probably only get 2 Millard North games before I have to head out. But
Okay.
we've got about 3
Because
hours.
you got tennis tonight?
I do have tennis.
I knew it.
Listen, actually, I don't think I'm going till 4:30 today, so I might be able to stay for all
Wow. Look at that. That'll be nice.
3. Yeah, listen, thought I'd put in a full day work. You know,
I do like this field. It's a lot of really good teams.
I'm just excited to see. I mean, obviously Trey Taylor's going to be there, so that's going
Yeah.
to be exciting.
Yep.
I'm
excited to see that just the way that the ball leaves his hand in person.
it's
Because the way that I've seen it in some
on video, it's different.
we've
It's
been talking to
exciting.
Trey for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Like since he committed last summer, we had him on right away. We had him on again. We talked to him a couple of different times. I know Avery's talked to him, but it's so different when you hear about the numbers, you hear about the star rating, and then seeing some of the clips from our guys
Yeah,
of those throws that he was doing.
like
just
in
that-
passing league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the ball. I think I told you this too. There hasn't been a whole lot of Nebraska high school quarterbacks, I understand, that have gone on to elite levels and all that other stuff. And even Jet last year, Jet was phenomenal. I felt like he was incredibly accurate. He knew where the ball needed to go. He was incredibly precise in where he wanted to be. His timing was phenomenal. But just the natural throwing ability, you can't register that in any other way other than what I saw from Trey. That's what I'm most excited about to see today.
Yeah, so it's interesting because Jet is probably the one you have to most directly compare him to in terms of of a prospect,
Mhm.
right? Like I know a lot of people prior to Jet would go to Zane Flores or Obviously, Braylon Warren also is a super talented
Right.
guy as
and
well.
I watched Heinrich in Kearney Catholic and stuff, but he was just such a more dominant athlete than everybody else.
I wouldn't say a natural thrower of the football, but a great athlete.
Yes.
Obviously, getting some looks in the NFL and training camps and stuff like that
at Carolina.
So like there's some like I've seen. I saw Eric Crouch play quarterback, right?
Yeah,
so like that, and he was a better thrower than people gave him credit for, especially in high school before he had shoulder surgery early in his.
He was in that prehistoric Millard North offense.
He was in that historic Millard North offense.
Did I add too many?
Yeah, too many syllables.
Okay, my bad. That's on me.
No, but he actually people don't realize he threw the ball more in high school than Millard North did with a lot of other quarterbacks because he was really talented. But there was just obviously he was a dominant athlete, although he was kind of strange too because he's not a big guy. Yeah. Like Heinrich's huge. Like even in high school, he was a big dude. Eric Crouch has never been a big dude, so it's kind of funny to like watch him dominate people, and you stand next to him, and it's like you're my size. That's odd. There's obviously we've all seen a ton of D1 guys, but we haven't had like at the quarterback position this level. I mean, there's never been a 5-star quarterback that's played in the state of Nebraska, right?
Yes.
Like that's like full stop. Like that's just where we're at.
We should say before his season started.
Yes.
Technically, Jet became like a 5-star by the end. Like he was
a 5-star by the end?
Rivals 5. He was in consensus 5.
Gotcha. Okay.
Whereas Trey is a consensus 5. We've had this. It's such a convoluted system.
Sure. Yeah.
It's so odd.
But yeah, going into his senior year, we have never had a 5-star play as far as I'm aware in the modern recruiting era. Play in the state of Nebraska. And Jet to me is a smoother, like his motion is more smooth than explosive, right? Like when he lets go of the ball, I don't know that it's a longer motion, but it just seems very like
it's all one.
Yes,
it's
very
meant that way,
smooth.
right?
Like Trey's motion is so quick and the ball gets out so fast. And he uses the different arm angles and he adjusts there. But there's a moment when he goes from here to the ball being out where you're just like, what just happened?
You can also hear the snap.
So like that's the thing. Like you can hear the ball leaving his hand, which is like I've heard the ball in the air before, which is still not super common.
Yeah.
To like really hear it sizzle. But I don't know, especially on video, I don't know that I've heard the ball like snap out of the guy's hands before, which is kind of crazy to think about. So like
I had to ask one of our video guys if his and I was like, I don't think this is anatomically possible.
Yeah.
But the snap of his hand, I was like, is his hand hitting his wrist or something?
Oh,
like, is it like, because I was like, I just didn't know what that was.
Yeah, what that noise was.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like theoretically, maybe it's like the fingers coming down off the ball, but it's kind of crazy to watch on video. So I am excited to see it in person today. Obviously, I'm excited to see Millard North. They got a bunch of new guys in there too. So I want to see what that looks like. And then Westside, Westside's got a lot of talent. I'm excited to see.
I'm excited to see Bryce Johnson in Westside.
So yeah, dude, he was really good for Bellevue West last year. He was honestly,
I'm telling you, one of my favorite players in the state. I loved watching Bryce Johnson. His first game that I went out and watched, I think it was week 2 or 3 against.
Was that Elkhorn South?
That was one we were at. Yeah.
Okay.
I hadn't seen someone high point a ball like that. And we were lucky because Tim was there too.
Yeah.
And I remember I kept going up to Tim and I was like, am I missing something?
Yeah, I was like, this guy seems really good. Yeah. They should throw him the ball more.
And then he had an interception that day.
Yeah,
he had a couple of big receptions, and
he single-handedly kept them in that game.
Yes, and that was Succo's 320-yard game
until Elkhorn South was just like, oh, we should just give the ball to Succo every time.
I remember going up to you at halftime, and I was like, if they just handed the ball off,
because he had like 12 carries at halftime or something, and then they're like, we should stop doing anything else. Let's just hand Jalen the ball. There's Bryce Johnson's a really good football player. I'm excited to see what he looks like with Westside. I'm excited. DB seems really high on the progress of Braylon Warren, so I'm excited to see that a little bit too. So it's going to be a good day. I'll get about 3 hours of 7-on-7 football in and see where we're at.
And this is also one of the unique things, and we can't give Mike way too much credit here because he'll hear this.
No.
But this is exactly why Mike started something like this, not just with preps, but obviously the 7v7 of it all, is eventually something like this is going to happen. The highest profile
of guys.
the highest profile of athletes would be competing against each other to promote not only the sport, but promote, the rest of the field and all that good stuff too.
And the state in general.
I like the fact that, and I know this just from the inside baseball of it a little bit, we've gotten so many media requests to be there, and it's not just from our own people, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to be there, you're going to be there. Obviously, Mike, I think JP is going to be hanging out, doing some, writing. Mike's going to be running it. We have our own video contractors and all that other stuff. But last year, we did not have the same amount of people interested in this event as there are this year. And I'm so glad that now it's becoming like a regular thing that people are not only going to see, obviously they're going to be there to see Trey and Tay.
Yeah.
I understand that completely. 90% of the interviews that people will have, and honestly, a lot of people may just dip out after they see a couple of the Middle and South. They get like what they need, especially with the day off with the CWS.
Yeah.
I get it. Like, I understand all that. But the fact that someone may see another kid because of those two,
Absolutely.
I'm 100% for. And I should throw Torrey Pittman in there too.
Mm-hmm.
Because of those three, the high-profile names, the many stars that are attached to
The
them.
Nebraska commits.
Yes. How many more kids from our state have a chance to be able to be seen at a more recognizable or national level? I mean, we were just talking about Bryce Johnson. Like, someone may fall in love with Bryce Johnson this weekend. You never know. Like, physical traits and all that other stuff. You never know what a kid's story could be as to why they aren't able to go to summer camps, why they aren't able to do all this other stuff. Maybe they're, just not interested in it, or whatever the case is. They could be found because of the attention and spotlight put on the state of Nebraska, the city of Omaha, and our local area talent because of those guys.
Yeah, and it's kind of interesting because we talk about this when drafts come up quite a bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the NFL draft, especially, where, we talk about programs that win get the benefit of the doubt, but also if you've got one of the things that I'm sure helped Indiana get so many draft picks this year was the fact that Fernando Mendoza was going to be a first-round draft pick.
Yeah.
It wasn't clear immediately he was going to be the number 1 overall pick because we weren't sure who was going to come out. Could have been Dante Moore, stuff like that, But it was immediately clear he was going to be a first-round draft pick. And so when you're scouting that guy, all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, I kind of like Cooper, the receiver, and I kind of like Pons, the corner. And, you kind of start going through the list. And these guys are probably get drafted anyway, but when you're there because there's a dude, all of a sudden you start noticing other guys, right? You're like,
well, I mean, you can even localize it too. The 09 defense for Nebraska, Sue elevated a lot of other people's profile.
Jared Crick, before he got injured his senior year, was projected as a borderline first or second round draft pick. And a lot of it had to do with the fact, he had a 4-sack game. A lot of that had to do with Sue, but a lot of that had to do with the fact that people were like, oh man, not only is Sue great, so you got to see Jared Crick, but then you start to make some assumptions about the way Nebraska coaches their defensive line.
Yep.
Just the way we're doing with Jashir Whittington right now. We're like, hey, I like Pittsburgh defensive lineman. I will take my chances with that guy.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And so there's a lot of factors in this where having guys like Trey, and I know some people, not a ton, but I've heard some people kind of feel a certain type of way. I was like, well, he's not really a Nebraska kid, whatever.
Right.
But he's actually he's doing something not just for the university, but as we said, he's raising the profile of some of these Nebraska kids.
He even tweeted out the Millard South fundraiser link yesterday.
Yeah, when this kid's in,
he's bought in.
When this kid's in, he's in.
Yeah,
you have to appreciate that about him. And also, who's to say there's not some wide receiver or tight end for Millard South this year that's kind of under the radar that people are like, holy crap, look at this kid. We knew Tay Ellis was good, but what about this other kid that's getting the ball for Millard South from Trey Taylor all the time? I don't know. There's just a lot of cool things that can happen with this. And, I appreciate that some of these guys, and hopefully a Bryce Johnson, gets an opportunity or gets looks that he normally wouldn't get. Yeah. Or, I'm always, obviously, Torrey Pittman moved from Central to Millard North. I hope a bunch of Millard North guys get looks that maybe they wouldn't have gotten anyway. And, I follow them on social media and stuff, the Millard North football accounts. It seems like they're getting a bunch of guys are getting offers. They're not all power conference offers, but a lot of D2, a lot of FCS offers, stuff like that. We're like, that's great for those kids too.
Yeah. And maybe this is more of a question for Damon, but that is something that I think the general public sometimes will see. And this is, of course, a little bit of the Nebraska of it too. But a lot of times we see some of these accounts, the Middle North team, or I've seen it from the Central Nebraska teams. They're like, hey, thanks for this coaching staff for coming out. It's like Northern Illinois or, Missouri showed up or whatever. And they tweet out, they're like, well, thanks for these coaches for coming out and seeing our kids or whatever. How much of those are realistic? They're just doing their due diligence and, handing a business card over, or just saying hey, just want to keep a relationship open. And how many of them are intently coming to view some of those schools. It's probably give or take, right? Like it's probably
a mix, yeah,
right. It's a little bit of both. But the fact that you're right, I've seen more of those this past year than I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these kids, a lot of these schools, Nebraska included, are making sure that they're back in the populace of hanging around Omaha and going to the right schools and being at the right places. And you never know, because as soon as it starts here, if you get it, again, like I know we're talking about it in terms of just this year and whatnot, but it is a trickle effect because yes, Trey and Tay are not homegrown. They're not corn-fed talent on any of that sort of sense. But when it comes to, okay, so now Millard South has this, spotlight on them. Westside has another spotlight on them with Braylon and all the other guys that they've had coming up and whatnot too. It continues on because the right people come to future games because they said, well, we've gotten a couple of good kids from Westside, or Millard South has had a lot of high talent come out. So, I'm going to stop by Omaha on a Friday night. I'm going to go watch them play Millard North. And then, it just kind of keeps on moving forward, right? Like the path just keeps moving forward for future talent. And again, you kind of have to tip your cap at times to be able just to say, like, what, if we're building the brand, is the best way to do it.
Yeah. I mean, and obviously people knew about Trey Taylor before he came to Millard South, right? But, like if Chase Lofton or Isaac Jensen have really good college careers at tight end positions, and all of a sudden you look at it, you're like, oh, that's maybe the next time Millard South has a kid that's coming up as a freshman or sophomore, you make sure you make a stop out there. I think from a national perspective, the way we're talking about, I do think most of those schools don't come in unless there's guys that they actually want to see.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas locally, whether that's Nebraska, whether that's UNK,
the Division IIs, the NAIs,
or whether it's the FCS schools, like all the Dakota schools, the North Dakota State, South Dakota State. Like, I do think they tend to keep a closer eye on just the relationship with the high school coaches. I think there's just an understanding where it's like, hey, if I'm close enough, I should go. I think Iowa does that to a certain extent. I think Iowa keeps pretty close tabs.
Iowa State, obviously, I mean, they've been
under Matt Campbell.
Yeah, a little bit
I don't know
different.
what Jimmy Rogers is going to do, but Matt Campbell
will be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know that. Like, I think he's going to have a different.
Yeah,
I don't want to say like I think he's going to have a different recruiting approach.
Yeah,
and maybe he'll learn. You know
whose benefit that is? Dan Jackson,
and Nebraska. Let's be real. I mean, if you don't have Matt Campbell sniff around all the time, like.
Because he was getting those kids early.
Yeah.
Like, how many of those kids were juniors that were already, like pre-committed?
Bramer is a great example of this, right? Where you're like, oh, that kid's pretty good. That's one we might want back, but Matt Campbell was on it so early, and he's a great talent evaluator. Like, he's incredible at that. And
willing to take chances.
Yes. Well,
but not in like a character form, but in like I can see, I can see where this kid could go before other people will. And
I think he really trusts his eye, which is crucial, especially when you're a place like Iowa State, where you're not going to have all the resources that some of the other programs do. But yeah, it's a huge benefit to Iowa, to Nebraska, to, as you mentioned, Dan Jackson up there at SDSU. I can't wait to see what he does up there, because obviously, like, we love talking to him, and DB knows him really well. But I think he's the type of guy that you look at and you're like, yeah, that's kind of a guy that I think you want Nebraska kids to be around, like Nebraska high school kids to be around. That's why I was super excited when Anthony Rizak transferred up there. I think he's going to sit behind an incoming starter this year, but hopefully he gets an opportunity after being at Notre Dame. Like, that's a kid that I was enamored with in high school in terms of his ability as a quarterback. And, just it's a good family, good kids, right?
Yeah. And sometimes you just need a chance.
And that's the thing is, I know Marcus Freeman liked him at Notre Dame, but he was probably going to get buried and going to have a really hard time getting enough reps to show people what he's capable of. But
then the Notre Dame factor of it all, where it's like, Notre Dame is, if you have a quarterback and he's your walk-on quarterback, how many times are you going to be comfortable being like, okay, well, we've got this really good walk-on that we're comfortable with, right?
Especially when you can be like, hey, let's go get that portal guy that we know has produced at this level. It's just tough, right? Whereas I think there's a lot more development now that goes on at like the FCS level or some of these group of 5 programs that you can look at and go, I've got time to develop this guy, and I can take a chance on a guy that, if you're at Notre Dame, you probably just don't have that luxury, right? Like, they didn't make college football playoff last year, and people are losing their minds. It's like, that's still a pretty good football team, and Marcus Freeman knows what he's doing. So, I don't know, it's really interesting. I think there's I'm excited for the 7-on-7 today. I think it'll be a good time. And I don't know, man. I think it's I think it's exciting for the state of Nebraska. I know some people kind of like poo-poo the 7-on-7 of it all. Like,
yeah.
I understand it's not real football. Like,
Yeah.
everybody does.
Well, we're also not saying that like the state championship in November is going to be determined by who wins this, right?
Yeah, of course.
Like,
yeah, like obviously, for the last couple of years, Millard South won it, and they had a lot of really good football players.
I can tell you right now, like you can go through that list. Like Bellevue West obviously has lost a lot, but I would never write out Bellevue West and Michael Huffman, especially in a 7-on-7 tournament. We got plenty of guys that they've got it going on. So yeah, absolutely. You can definitely confuse people in a passing league in that sort of sense. Millard West is interesting. They've gotten better and better. Westside and Millard South are obviously the two teams we've talked about quite a bit. Bennington's moved up to A. You've got plenty of good talent that's up there in Bennington, and they're going to continue to be good. Now, they're more of the running team, but when they want to throw the ball in, especially in a 7-on-7 environment, they'll be good. Archbishop Bergen is probably one of the better teams in C2, C1 that you can get to something like this as well. Millard North is going to have really good athletes out there. So you've got a lot going on there. Lakeview has a very experienced team, even coming up from C1. That's going to be a lot of fun to be able to see them and how they compete some of the top level teams. Omaha Scott's obviously going to be another one that super experienced, high talent, and they're going to have their own Division I guy in White Lieberentrit too, who's going to be, someone that you're going to have to take account for as well. Norris has been one of the top teams in Class B. Fort Calhoun makes things interesting. There's a lot of good teams that are here. And yeah, you can pin it down and just be like, okay, well, if there's two teams left, it's probably Westside and Millard South. But 7-on-7's odd, man. You never know what could happen. But that's why I'm saying, like, you can't take everything that's what's going to happen over this next 2 days at Bellevue West High and just apply it directly into what the season's going to be for September through November.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's going to be fascinating. It's going to be fun the next couple days out there at 7-on-7. And
no fights though. You got to break that up.
Why do I got to break it up?
It's got to be on you.
What did I do? I didn't get hired as security.
You got to hold the standard.
I'm not wearing the yellow over jacket thing today.
The over jacket thing.
I don't know what it's.
What do you mean?
Exactly.
What's it called? The quarter zip.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
got my yellow little Carolina University quarter zip.
Oh, okay.
I
thought you were talking about a vest. Like the little
some people
photography vest.
No, some people in the comments say I look like I work security when I wear that.
Which one?
It's like a long sleeve. It's yellow. It's like windbreaker material.
I don't know you wearing a yellow anything.
Yeah, I wear it quite a bit. It's from my boy out at Carolina University. Help him out with
colorblind?
Maybe. What color is this?
That's blue.
What color?
Deep blue. Navy.
Deep blue.
Yeah. What? It can't be deep blue? What?
That's just funny. It's deep blue.
It is. Come on. How deep is that blue?
Isn't it dark blue?
I just navy. I just call it navy.
Told you my brain's my brain's off today. It's fine. I am sad I'm not getting any Zesto today. I've been on a Zesto diet for 3 straight days.
Dude, Zesto is terrific.
I forget how much I like it. And I do go to the North Omaha one every once in a while. Myself, Dr. Fiance will go. We'll take the dog and get a pup cup, do all that good stuff.
Nice.
But there is something about getting it down at the village.
Oh, 100%.
Right? It's so much better.
100%.
Yeah.
And I was a little disappointed. I like to get the cone. I like an ice cream cone.
Why didn't you get the cone?
Well, because we're gonna walk.
Oh,
back
right. You were worried.
To melt.
Yeah, and then Rico had an
insane.
He was like, "What if I hold it for you?"
And I was like, "That's not the problem. The problem is the ice cream will be melted, dummy." It's like I'm not afraid.
Ravi, just let me hold it for you.
I'm not afraid about getting my hand dirty.
I heard it like through the side because I was planning nefarious comments to Kenny on that walk back. So I was like, all right, well, whatever. And then I heard Rico offer to hold the ice cream cone while you ate it. And I was like, I don't know if there's anything like more emasculating than being like, hey, friend, why don't you hold this ice cream cone for me?
More people will stare at me than Kenny on the walk back.
Dude, I will say, it's funny to be out there with Kenny. I realized this last year when he was out there. It's like, I don't think because he's just around us so much.
Yeah.
I don't think we appreciate how famous he is.
Right. Yep.
Like
it happened to me one. Like I had to think. I think it was his Hall of Fame weekend, or maybe it was the weekend before or something.
Oh yeah.
He had texted me about something, and I was out with like guys at a tailgate, and they saw my phone, or they saw who I was texting. And they're like, "Is that Kenny Bell you're texting?" Yeah, he's my coworker.
And like the same thing happens with Damon too. Like, and I've been around him a lot longer now, so I'm a little bit more used to it. But like I just don't think we appreciate just because we're around him so much. Like when like when you're out in public with DB, especially on like there's certain places too. Like if you're in Lincoln on a game day with either of those two, it's like what is like they can't. I understand like why DB kind of like navigates the way he does sometimes because like it's a lot. And then Kenny. Yeah.
Do you want me to reenact the people who walked by when we were at Zesto?
Hold on, I'm gonna be standing here.
Okay, you want to stand?
Yeah, I'm Kenny, for obvious reasons, because my hair. Yeah, this is how people just. I'm just out here, right? Just.
hey man, can I get a photo? Can I get a photo, man?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Right. No, first you gotta be like, hey, are you Kenny Bell? My favorite part is when they come up to me and they're like, "Is that Kenny Bell?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's pretty unique looking."
They don't ask the token white guy.
Like, "Hey, is that Kenny Bell?" Yes, it is.
Yeah, I do kind of look like your sound stage manager when it's like us four out. It's like me, you, Rico, and Kenny.
Hey guys, we gotta go. Come on now.
We've got 5 minutes to get back to the studio. Yeah, Hot Danger says, I think seeing a famous person in the wild, part of the excitement is just realizing you accurately recognize them.
Yeah.
I mean, Kenny's pretty easy to recognize. He has some distinct features.
Yeah, he's always got the hat on.
He does
love bucket hat.
He does love to wear a bucket hat.
You guys doing that stream yesterday was the most ridiculous thing ever. I walked by like 4 or 5 times. I was like, are you guys even on? Like, are you doing anything?
Yeah.
Because Kenny's sitting like this.
Well, yeah.
He could have put the headset on.
Yeah, he couldn't put the headset on over his hair and his hat, which is fine. He could hear me. That's all that mattered.
Yeah.
I could hear him. It's all good. Yeah. No, it is funny though to just walk around with Kenny at the College World Series and just be like, yeah, people love this dude. And you just don't really, I don't know, you don't really think about it. It happened like the first time we took a photo somewhere and then it ended up on like Instagram or somewhere. And one of my wife's friends is a huge Nebraska fan, a huge Kenny Bell fan. And she's like, why do you have a picture with Kenny Bell? And she goes, I don't know, is that his last name? He goes, that's Ravi's friend from work. Like my wife doesn't watch football. Like, she doesn't care about football at all. She's like, I don't know, it's Ravi's friend Kenny from work. I don't know. We were at a work thing. And she goes, that's Kenny Bell. He's a Husker. Like he's one of the most famous. He was great. Like freaking out. And she's like, I don't know. I can ask Ravi. He's Ravi's coworker. I don't know.
When I like you're actually getting more and more popular from my fiance's like circle of people.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've told you this like a little bit in passing.
You told me that your like old frat boys were like that you were a big deal because you worked on the show.
Yeah. Well, and some of that's just they were just like, oh, whoa, look at this guy. He's like getting up in the world. It was like, yeah, I work at a YouTube radio show.
Easy.
But yeah, no, for whatever reason, at UNMC and at Children's, the people that Dr. Fiance is like working around and stuff, they'll like pull up, like they follow like the Hurrdat Sports and stuff just because you know I work there and whatnot, and they'll be like, yeah, I really like all their like different videos and stuff, and she'll be told a couple of times when they're on like breaks and whatnot, they're like, I really like that Indian guy. They're like, I just, it's really cool to see like. And it's really funny too.
It's possible we might have some things in common with the coworkers.
Yes. And it's really funny because my fiance will always be like, well, they'll always say something. He talks really well, and I'm like, well, he's from here, so I get to do it for you, which is very fun. Because it's all your like stand up like standalone videos where you're like looking directly at the camera, like Nebraska basketball, that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And we told one of them. Or Caddie was able to tell one of them, well, he's going to be officiating our wedding. And they freaked out.
Really?
Like her coworker sent it to her boyfriend and they were like freaking out. They're like, oh my God, we're going to meet Ravi. So you're going to have some fans there.
Let's go. Going to have an autograph line.
You're going to have your Kenny Bell moment.
I'm going to be the Kenny of the wedding. Unless you invite Kenny and then it'll be like, we don't care about Ravi anymore.
That'll be over. Maybe I'll designate like a Kenny time and I'll like have to make it during the toast to be like, hey guys, so Kenny's going to be here at 7:30. We know a lot of you are here for Kenny.
He will be here from
Damon.
7:30 to 7:50. That's his window.
Be a booth over on the side.
Yeah. DB will be here the whole time, but he will be in a corner and you won't be able to find him.
And you won't. Nope.
No.
You also won't recognize him because he won't be wearing his triple XL West Side quarter zip, but
He
that's
might be.
okay.
You don't know.
He probably will. Like, this is the nicest thing I own.
No, that's
I
not
remember
true.
when I saw him at Pinnacle Bank Championship last year.
Yeah.
He kept like tugging at his shirt. He was like, "I'm wearing the most ridiculous thing today."
Yeah, wasn't it just a Hurrdat polo?
No, it was like the tan button up like whatever.
Yeah.
He was like, "I hate this thing."
It's true. So I mean, he dressed, he wears like the suits and stuff when he hosts the Jet Awards, and
he's
things.
worn that when he goes on Big Red Wrap Up and stuff too. I think
he could. I don't think he likes it very much, but he'll dress up nice. I think he dressed up for Big Ten Media Day a couple days ago, or a couple years ago, not a couple days ago. Yeah,
was it a couple days ago?
No, it's coming up here in about a month.
You guys going?
You guys going?
Shane, hold on.
Maybe.
Shane. Oh, Shane.
Incredible.
No, it's not going.
Good stuff.
Are you guys going?
There we go.
It's the anticipation.
Thank you.
That's not it at all.
Is it like the tournament you had yesterday? Shane, I did have somebody yesterday when I was in the Omaha Baseball Village.
Wanted to go to the whole tournament?
Yes.
To the whole tournament.
No, they did ask me. They said, "Did Shane say ho tournament this morning?"
Spit Cup WVU says my Uber.
What?
He said my Uber driver in Omaha told me about you guys, and you've been a great follow. Let's go Mountaineers.
Let's go. Let's go Mountaineers.
I'm sorry you guys had an exit yesterday. I mean, I'm sorry and I'm not sorry.
Yeah. See, here's the other part. We wanted you guys to go out and win, but we also really wanted a day off. So thank you.
Yeah,
for laying down on your sword.
We do appreciate that, and it was just. I'll be honest. You get to like day 6 of the College World Series, it gets the days get pretty long.
It does,
but it's
there is a lot of good food options in OBV. And you can walk around, and there's obviously a lot of great stuff like in that area that you can go to and walk to and whatnot. We're a little limited because you can go to tailgates and all that. Some of the tailgates we know have already wrapped up, like they've already like shut down for the season. But it is one of those that I can only eat so much fried food in like that amount of a window that then my body starts to reject it. She's like, "Hey man, maybe it's time for a green leaf every once in a while.
Have we heard of a salad?
Would you like some fruit?" I did want to get an acai bowl the other day because they have like the Troy bowl and all this, but they have the UNC bowl. And every time I walk by there, I go, "The Unk Bowl." Then finally yesterday, the ladies working there go, "We know."
And you probably walk by there like 30 times a day.
Because I did the same thing. The Unk Bowl.
We get it. We get it. Like,
so they're probably at the same level. They're like, "Hey man, whatever we can do to just get a day away from this place."
Yes. No, I do. We were pulling for the Mountaineers in spirit, but in practicality, we were hoping that North Carolina and Oklahoma pulled it off, which obviously they did.
Austin is the reason that anybody who likes acai no longer likes Hurrdat.
Probably.
Yeah, no, it was
I've been impressed by Oklahoma.
Yeah, I couldn't believe the power surge they had last night with all the homers, and honestly,
they even left a couple of runs out there too. I mean, they could have really blown the door. I mean, they did, but like that could have gotten even worse at times.
Yeah, that's that was a really incredible performance. And it was funny, you had the Harris had the 2 homers. And I think he had 4 all year coming into the College World Series. And he was the first Oklahoma player to have multiple home run game. And his teammate does it like an inning later or like a couple batters later.
He goes, "Hey, I got it first though. Put my name. Put my name there.
My name's first. We can share it later, but my name's first." It was a pretty cool game for both North Carolina and Oklahoma. But I mean, the coolest moment was, did you see the Branch brothers?
Yeah. So he hits it. Was that the 8th or the 9th that he gets
it was the bottom of the 9th.
Yeah.
It's his last college at bat.
Yeah.
So Colton Branch plays shortstop for Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Branch plays second base for Oklahoma. Avery kind of turned me on to this story when we did our pre-series show on Friday, where their 2 parents, which they showed in the crowd a bunch last night as this was happening, they had those 2 in separate super regionals, and they had a kid in the Texas State Baseball Championship all in the same weekend. And apparently they did not miss a game.
Good for them.
Like they were like bebopping around the country and made it to every single of the 3 boys' games. I think they've got 2 younger ones too, but these were the only 3 playing this weekend.
You know, those youngest probably were like, we got to get our acai bowls. And no, we got to catch a flight. That's what we need to do.
They're like, can I get an Unk Bowl?
No, no Unk Bowl.
And so these 2, so it was a super cool moment where, they're showing the parents in the stands, and like as soon as he hits the home run, mom goes tears instantly. And she was kind of choked up anyway since her son's last at bat in college. And then just as soon as he hits the home run, just instant tears. Dad starts tearing up as well. And then the coolest part though is when they showed the replay of Kyle, the second baseman for Oklahoma, when they showed his face when Colton hit the ball, and he just had he looked like a little kid. Yeah. Like he just had this big smile on his face. He did. He was kind of like, oh my God, like I can't believe that just happened. And they kind of dap each other up as they're around it. And obviously it's easy for the Oklahoma player in that situation because it's like, well, we're up by 11 to 3. Like this is probably fine. That one
Congrats, big bro.
Yeah, appreciate that one run's not going to matter. But super cool moment. Like it was sort of a full circle thing for me since Avery had kind of told me about their whole story coming into the tournament and then seeing that kind of play its way out. And, it's one of those, how can you not be romantic about baseball moments?
And again, cool thing too, because hitting a home run at the Chuck, not an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
I mean, Georgia has hit plenty of solo home runs in this tournament, it felt like, but they got their business done. That was pretty cool.
It was. That was a super cool moment. And it's one of those cool things we love about the College World Series, right? Like where else are you going to see that happen? Like that's crazy.
So that's actually, I'm glad you brought up the College World Series because
World Series.
So what do you think that, and the final may determine this too, but what do you think we're going to remember this CWS for? Because this has been a little bit odd.
Interesting.
The games, there's only been a few close games that have been competitive all the way to the end. And maybe there's only been was only the Oklahoma Georgia from the beginning, right? Was that the only 1-run game we've had so far?
I thought there were a couple early, but it's been an interesting series just from the standpoint. I mean, it's been an interesting entire tournament, right? Yeah. You get your top 2 seeds out in their own regionals, like before we even get to the supers. So like UCLA almost went 2 in the queue. People thought Georgia Tech could win the national title. Like this started off pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know if I had to put one thing on. I mean, if North Carolina wins, it'll be them finally breaking through. Like that'll be the big story about, hey, North Carolina, they knocked on the door so many times in the last 20, 25 years. And finally they broke through and got that national title. But
I almost feel like it'll be more remembered for like how endearing the new fan bases were. Like Troy and West Virginia coming into Omaha.
And that's what TK says. He says, I'll remember that CWS is the time that Troy became my second favorite college baseball team.
Yeah, and I feel like that will probably become what people maybe just locally remember. Like the North Carolina probably of what you're saying for the baseball heads and all those
and
sort
the
of
national,
guys. Yeah, but I guess for the local side, I could see a lot of people clamping on to West Virginia from here and just continually being like, I just can't wait for the Mountaineers to come back. Just can't wait for them to show up again. Because it sounds like that of all the fan bases, people enjoyed having Troy here, and a lot of people really enjoyed having West Virginia here.
That would be my consensus for sure. As we mentioned earlier.
And we all hate Ole Miss.
Ole Miss can GTFO. If they never make it back here again, I won't shed a single tear.
You know what? I'm actually unafraid of an Ole Miss takeover if a college football playoff home game is blessed to be in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have any fear. It'd be like, well, it's not like Ole Miss is going to come here in spades.
I mean, they might, but they're going to be real Dean Blandinos about it.
No, they're going to be in the new suites is where they're going to be. They're not going to be anywhere with the people.
I don't know what their deal is, but those people sucked. I don't know what to tell you. Like, we ran into so many of them.
There were so many.
I don't even feel like I'm generalizing. I'm not sure I had a positive interaction with a single Ole Miss fan the entire time they were here. I had some neutral ones.
Yeah. Okay. So if you put it that way, yes, I would have many neutral. I don't think I had a green is good conversation.
No, there was never one where I was like, oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
Like that was great. It's the exact opposite with LSU fans, for instance, right? LSU fans, it's 90% positive conversations, 9% neutral and 1% bad.
And usually the 1% is because they're just pretty drunk. You're like, okay, sorry. That's on me for actually approaching you.
You're like, my bad. Your eyes weren't crossed yet. I thought we were okay. So
Go beat.
Yeah, Ole Miss was terrible. Like, I'm just gonna be like, awful fan base.
Yeah,
terrible experience. I hope they never come back.
Mm-hmm.
But would love to see Troy back. Would love to see West Virginia back.
I would like to see North Carolina back again too.
So North Carolina is a very like respectful fan base.
They're highly neutral.
Yes,
Like,
they are
I have
not
had
like
it.
super fun.
Yeah,
but there's I don't have a negative thing to say about them. They're here for that. Honestly, they might be the most like here for the baseball.
it's a true business trip for them.
I think North Carolina is like, hey, we're here for the ball.
Yeah,
right? Like, we're here for ball.
I met a guy yesterday that we were talking to, and he was like, yeah, we drove up here. And I was like, why? Why would you drive? He's like, well, we come to Omaha all the time for my company. And I was like, so you drive for your company too? I was like, what company is this? He goes, Lincoln. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he even hit me with the, I don't even drive. It must be nice. I was like, so you rode in the car.
I was like, drove is an aggressive term for what you did here. That's being like, yeah, I flew the plane over to
no, you didn't.
I was a passenger.
Yeah.
North Carolina is I think North Carolina is the most like, hey, we're here for the baseball.
Yes, yeah. Which I mean, their baseball team did the exact same thing too. Yeah. Those guys have been locked in.
No, and listen, I have no problem with that whatsoever. I appreciate like the North Carolina people that are here are baseball fans.
Yep.
They were so locked in that they were 20 minutes to their own send-off.
What do you mean?
North Carolina was supposed to be sent off at the hotel yesterday at 6 o'clock. They didn't come down the escalators till 6:22.
Ooh, so locked in.
Maybe they were doing other stuff, Rico. Maybe they're not on your time frame, bud. Is that the first send-off you've been to, Rico? Good talk.
All right, thanks, Rico.
Appreciate you
I
chiming
lost
in
you there for a second.
Okay.
All right, well, we're just going to leave Rico beat. That's fine. That's what he gets for working remote today.
I think there are yes, hot Andrew, got to use full sentences. That is the key. That's why we were both so confused. I was like, I feel like you left some words out there, bud.
Sounds like biting the blanket.
Yeah, you gotta.
Rico in full. What's his face from The Office?
Kevin.
Yeah.
Why use many words when few words do trick?
Nah, bro.
He's probably pre-gaming the Knicks parade.
Oh, that's why he stayed home. He's probably on a flight right now.
Yeah.
Maybe he met our Lincoln friend, and he's also
like,
being a passenger.
Hey, can I drive to New York?
Unless you got that text from Sasha.
Oh, maybe he actually did work last night. Yeah,
0% chance he did that. No, yeah, North Carolina was here for the baseball. I think also on send-offs they give you like the earliest time they would go, so you don't miss it.
Because I was at the Georgia send-off yesterday.
Yeah,
and I showed up at 2:20 at the hotel, and they were supposed to be out at 2:30, and they left the hotel at 3:23.
Yeah.
And then it was funny because we sent our intern Brody, the Broad. He went
Arch?
up. Yeah, Big Arch. He went up to Oklahoma's, and they were scheduled for 3 to 3:30. Theirs was at 3:25. They were like minutes after.
Yeah. I think they're trying to give you a window so you don't miss it.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I asked if he'd ever been to a send off before, because I was like, I don't think that's uncommon. Man.
Yeah.
Like
it was really funny at the Georgia send off because the hotel had given these kids like the boom sticks or whatever, and they were just beating the hell out of each other with them. They gave those things to them way too early, and all these parents were around me, and they were just like, "Oh my god!" Like, why would the hotel do this? And I remember one of the dads was like, "We can't stay here again if they're going to be giving our kids this."
Did you ever? You've got brothers. Did you ever like beat the crap out of each other with like pool noodles?
No, they beat the crap out of me. They're 4 and 5 years older than I was. So
yeah, so like you got to buck up a little bit, you know.
I couldn't help it.
You got to get the
skinny, scrawny boy.
You got to get the pool noodle and just
what? So
pool noodles or like the wrapper from like wrapping paper, like the tube.
Oh, the tube. Yes, yeah. The Christmas season that would be a classic. Like helping mom like wrap it, and then it'd be like, doom.
Yeah, just beat the hell out of each other with those things.
It also made a fun noise too.
It did.
Yeah.
It'd make those weren't super sturdy.
No,
you get a few whacks in there, and those things are pretty much spent.
Yeah,
the pool noodles though, you can use those things for a while.
Yeah, my middle brother lost a tooth. It basically just like I think it just fell out or something. Like it was an adult tooth. It was just like loose or wasn't whatever. So it like fell out. So this big gap. And when he was like a sophomore, junior in high school, and people, smaller school, so all the, like the middle school and the high school are connected. And people would ask me, a middle schooler, they'd be like, "Hey, what happened to your brother? Like, why is he missing a tooth?" And I just told him, I was like, "Oh, well, Andrew and Alex got in a big fight, and Alex knocked out a tooth." So then it like, you know, me being a shatheed, like that rumor got up to the upper levels of the home. And my mom was like, "You got to stop telling people your brothers are fighting in the basement. You can't be doing that."
Yeah, you know why?
Because my mom
first
works
rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club.
It's also because my mom works at the school and she didn't like her coworkers being like, "Hey, I heard you have a basement fight club going on with your sons."
She'd be like, "We don't talk."
Yeah.
Like, if your mom was a gangster, she'd be like, "We don't talk about Fight Club."
Yeah. My mom's anti-fight club.
Come on.
My mom's bad at picking movies. So not bad at picking movies. She picks good movies. But the problem is that she picks movies that she's always like, "Oh my God, I didn't realize that I had this on." Case in point, she sat us all down for a Sunday night movie once.
Oh no.
And she goes, "Listen, there's only so much you could probably guess." And she's like, "What a great new film. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to do good. It's got Leo in it. It's going to be a really fun movie."
The Revenant.
No, it's worse. It's The Wolf of Wall Street.
Well, that's not a worst movie, but it is the worst thing to watch with your parents.
Yeah, in our entire family together. The first scene, he's driving down a highway with a female. And my mom, I remember viscerally, my mom goes, "Oh!" There's a strong Catholic faith was really tested. And she, credit to her, we watched the whole movie
Did
together.
she see it through?
We watched the whole movie.
Wow.
I went to school the next day.
I watched 42 with my in-laws.
Oh.
Where they're like, "Hey, we just want you to know we really appreciate that,
You
Jackie
should,
Robinson."
you should do that every year. You should watch
that
like
one
Sisters
scene.
with them.
That one scene got real awkward.
Oh, with the manager?
Oh, a
Yeah,
bad trip
everybody
to
was
Philadelphia.
Everybody was quiet.
Was everyone looking at you?
They're like, "Is this okay?"
No,
Is
it
this
was literally, it was just like staring at the TV, like everybody.
straight ahead, no eye
even,
contact.
even me. I was like, "This is heavy."
They're like, pretend like you're at a trough at Memorial Stadium. Don't turn your head. Do not turn your head.
Peek ahead.
So Rico, we've had a request that you do the
Mort?
the Mort I Love Jalen Brunson thing.
Oh, Jalen Brunson, I love you.
Okay.
All right, TK. I hope
I'm
that
really
was worth
glad
it.
we got that.
I hope that was worth it, TK.
I do hope that was worth it. It felt real weird. I didn't like that.
Thanks for using full sentences, Rico.
Yeah, it was my amazing bod.
Why do you have so many Rico drops?
He just keeps a file on
Saying things.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, I thought that was a drop too.
Oh,
You got us.
Rico.
That's good. Good
Coming
stuff.
up on the show today, we've got John Rathouz. He is a former PGA caddy. We're going to talk about the U.S. Open, which I don't believe has started yet, or maybe just did because they were in a weather delay. So we'll talk to him coming up here in just a few minutes. At 8:45, we'll talk to Brian Edwards of Major Wager. And then at 9, we've got Michael Bruntz of Husker 24/7. And we'll talk about the recruiting weekend. And there's some rumors I have to check on during the break that I need to see if there's any validity to it.
Oh, are you talking about one AH?
Yeah, what Jack said.
That is real. I saw it this morning.
Oh.
Yeah, he even had a profile picture change.
Oh,
Featuring him wearing some red.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Apparently, Ahmad Hudson has scrubbed the LSU mentions from his social profiles.
Why would he do that?
What's going on in Baton Rouge? Or Ruston, I think, is where Ahmad actually is from.
Will we be back at Battle of the Boneyard?
That would be interesting. What's going on at the Battle of the Boneyard?
We'll discuss next on Hurrdat Sports
Big
Live.
Red Rising. That's Austin. I'm Ravi. We'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live after this.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We're brought to you by Next Gen Male Medical. We were talking before the break a little bit about Ahmad Hudson and some social media happenings. What's going on with Ahmad Hudson? So the update here is there's no mention of LSU in his Twitter profile. His Twitter profile picture is of him at the Battle of Boneyard in Lincoln last year. He retweeted while on his official visit about a possible flip to Nebraska. Now, his Instagram profile does still mention LSU in it.
Rats.
But his profile picture is of him with his mom at, I believe it's his mom, at his official visit last weekend or 2 weekends ago. So
To Nebraska.
His official visit to Nebraska on June 5th, 6th, and 7th. So I'm just saying, there's a lot going on there.
Yeah.
Might be a little smoke.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a fire yet. There might be a little smoke.
Did I ask BC this or when? Maybe I can't remember.
You know
who
me.
it
I
was.
love little smokies.
Might have been Mitch or Sam. It's one of those three. Can't remember. I think it was BC yesterday. But I asked him about like why those continuing relationships are like so important. And I always hate the narrative that it's like, well, sometimes you play the long game because you never know like when you're going to talk to him again because there's a chance you get him in the portal and that sort of stuff. Yeah, I understand that. But also I think the way that Rule and the staff is recruiting, and also notably, not that anybody wants to give him credit for it except for Damon and you'd be part of this.
Marcus Satterfield,
really, really good recruiter, really good tight end coach, like knows how to get these guys, like knows either the right things to tell them or like is like that genuine and people believe him and everything. But like it is the tour de force when it comes to Ahmad Hudson. And if you're getting all of those like high energy, high profile recruiters, people that are talking to you in the right way, Satterfield's a good recruiter in his own right. Imagine if you also had Jeep Wade on you, if you also had Addison Williams like hitting you up, if you all had like,
if you had Fred Hoiberg,
like
if you've got Trey Taylor, which all
Nate
of those
Lenzer,
things
like
are
all
true.
these people, like
all those things are true.
Yeah, I mean, like they are putting in basketball phrase,
full
court press is on Ahmad Hudson. So like eventually, like charisma aside, you're probably going to break at some point because these people are talking to you and treating you so well. Like everybody loves to be buttered up, right? Everybody wants to be like talked up in a certain way and like recruited and like to be chased, right? Like you want to be wanted. But Nebraska's clearly doing more than just that.
Yes.
There's layers to this.
Thing.
Yes.
Yeah. And I will say this. So we were talking about this kind of off, I think right after we got off the air just for the break. There is an interesting part here that, and you said this about Lane Kiffin, and I don't know that it's true. Because you said you think he's probably charming enough or charismatic enough to like make that relationship okay, even though he seems like a very strange guy.
Yeah.
I don't. So,
they've got nine commits this week.
I get that. I think a lot of that is based on his football prowess and LSU more. Because like, I don't know. I met him at the ironically enough, the College World Series last time Ole Miss was here in 2022. That's a weird dude. Like, I don't like, that's not, I've met a lot of football coaches. Some of them are like, that's super charismatic. I get it. I understand. Like, he was so strange. And I don't like, maybe he turns it on for recruits or whatever, but I've heard sort of this, like, I don't know, you see him in public, like that's a weird dude. Charisma is not a word that I would use to describe him. I think people respect his football coaching ability because he's been successful almost everywhere he's been. And certainly offensively, he's been successful everywhere. And I think people respect LSU and, to be frank, the money that LSU has to give them. And the other one, Will Wade sucks.
Yes.
Like
That's a no stop, no argument.
Yeah,
like
that
that's a
dude
100%er.
That dude sucks.
Yeah.
Like he's been
Well, and not only the fact that he didn't even talk to Ahmad for the first few weeks of him being on campus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that dude is just that's
when the door was the most open, it felt like.
Not a good dude.
Mhm.
Just not a good dude. I don't know if Lane Kiffin's a good dude either. Like there's lots of stories about Lane Kiffin. I'm pretty sure Will Wade's not a good dude. So like that part of this all seems very strange to me because it seems like, and obviously we're not down there, so this could be different. It seems like his better relationships are with Nebraska.
Yep.
Now, if you're making a decision based on relationships, I think that's why DB says things like, I think he flips by signing day, right? Like because he believes that the relationships will win out in the end.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to go more recent football pedigree, obviously that's LSU.
Mhm.
If you want to talk about like offensive minds, Lane Kiffin's as good as any in the country, although I would argue Dana Holgerson's up there as well. But obviously Lane Kiffin has all the respect in the world as an offensive mind.
You also talk proximity to home,
the legacy,
the LSU legacy.
Like so all the other things, although I will say I think basketball tilts Nebraska's way.
Yeah.
I don't think Will Wade's a particularly good coach either. He was really good at cheating and recruiting. I mean, really, let's be honest. Like he was really good at cheating and recruiting. And like I don't think he's
also LSU basketball, not notable in the terms of the fray, of
I don't think he's a particularly good basketball coach.
Yeah.
You can see like Fred Hoiberg is a respected basketball name.
Mm-hmm.
They are clearly on the upswing, including the best results in program history last year, but have clearly been on the upswing the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Headed in the right direction. And let's be honest, with Will Wade's record in terms of, I guess he going to be there by the time Ahmad Hudson's done for 3 years. You know what I mean? Like that's not a guy that's stuck around places very long. And if and maybe if you don't like him in the first place, that's a positive.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if it comes down to relationships, Nebraska ends up winning.
Yeah.
I think if it comes down to anything else, then that ends up being an LSU commit.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you too.
Like LSU's going to win a bidding war.
Yep.
LSU's going to win on football and location and family and all that. But if it comes down to relationships or basketball, I think Nebraska wins.
There's also the part of it too
which is a crazy thing to say out loud.
It's always going to be his choice at the end. He's going to pick which hat he chooses and where he signs his letter of intent and all that good stuff. But the exterior voices that are inside of his house maybe have a louder voice than what Ahmad is able to maybe publicly say as well.
It's hard when you're a young kid like that to go against if everybody else in the family wants one thing. It's hard to go against that.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break here. We'll talk to John Rathouz about the U.S. Open here in just a minute on Hurrdat Sports Live.
The Kia Summer Sticker Sales event is on at Edwards Kia. Lease the 2026 Kia Sportage Hybrid S all-wheel drive starting at $299 a month. Edwards Kia is on a winning streak. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2027 Kia Telluride S all-wheel drive starting at $469 a month. Don't wait. Slide into savings with the Edwards Kia Summer Sticker Sales event.
Moment pregame for you. You're sprinkling some dirt on the field. Tell me about this little tradition of yours.
Yeah, so my mom gave me some dirt from the Bosch that she picked up after we won the Super Regional, and she gave me a little plastic bag full of it, and she said, sprinkle it on the field, give ourselves a little bit of the Bosch magic out here in Omaha. So I did that. I've been doing it the last 2 games. I actually forgot the first game, so it's worked against those guys, and hopefully it'll work. I saved some left. I got to ration it because I'm almost out, but I don't think I'm going to be able to go back to Chapel Hill and get any. So, but yeah, it's been awesome.
So shout out to Mom for this idea.
Shout out to Mom.
listening to Hurrdat Sports Live. J.J. Spawn, the leader, by himself with one to play at the U.S. Open. 2 putts. One! And one of the most unlikely final round Sundays in U.S. Open history. J.J. Spawn closes the deal.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's awesome. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports HQ, brought to you by Next Gen Mail Medical. We are joined now by John Rathouz here to talk a little PGA, USGA, I guess, USO. My apologies. John, how are we doing this morning?
Good. What's up, guys? Good to see you.
We're doing pretty good. Just happy to have a little respite from the College World Series grind for a couple days here since we've got a little break before the championship series starts. But things are good, man. It's been a busy summer so far, which is, usually our kind of sleepy time of the sports calendar, and that includes the U.S. Open starting today.
Yeah, I feel you, man. That's nice to have it on this morning. I already had a buddy send me a clip, guy sucking one off the green and down the slope 30 yards and in the fog. So, it's here.
Yeah, can you explain just a little bit? So I'm a little bit more of a golf novice, but I'm trying to get more into it. Shinnecock seems like it's like hell.
Nightmare fuel.
Yeah, and you add in the weather that's coming in there too right now. How much more difficult has this already extremely difficult course become just because of all the other factors that have come in?
Yeah, I haven't even checked the leaderboard yet, so I'm kind of, did that to myself this morning. And, I mean, it's one of the greatest American championship golf courses around. I think, many have it up there. It's got a really unique soil composition up there, all sandy, and you're on Long Island, exposed to the wind, like you said. And then it's got some really intricate routing as well, where the designer kind of throws you in these little 3-hole circles, and you just kind of get spinning around, and so you're constantly on your toes. And then when you throw in some more severe elements, especially in the first round of a golf tournament, where you kind of are having to kind of feel out, how you're going to be, little maybe extra nerves, it makes things extremely interesting. So it'll be interesting to see what scores are like today. And you really just gotta have to survive today. And if you're on, maybe you can post a nice round and get off to a good start.
Is this one of those tournaments where you feel like, especially this weekend, it's basically strongest mentality survives the weekend? You just can't let that frustration build up, especially early?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the U.S. Open, everybody knows, some years of this are different than others. Sometimes the scoring's a little better, but a week like this, you're at a classic golf course where I don't think many players have ever finished under par for the entire event. So how valuable par is. So, really, I think players, especially on a U.S. Open week, kind of understand that bogeys are going to be made more than likely, and that's okay. You just need to keep those double bogeys off the card, and obviously, right your ship, as quickly as possible.
Yeah, you'll be stunned to find out no one is, in fact, under par at this point. After having started a little bit late today because of that fog you mentioned. I mean, yeah, if you're going to have a super challenging golf course, like, why would you need to see? That wouldn't be helpful at all. John, as you're kind of looking at this and describing the challenges of Shinnecock, and last time the U.S. Open was here in 2018, I believe, the winner was over par. And was that Koepka?
Yes.
Yeah, so Koepka's over par in the win there. And so obviously nobody finished below par that weekend either. What type of player do you think can, I'm not going to say thrive or do well here, but what kind of player, what kind of game can survive here the best?
Yeah, I mean, Austin kind of mentioned it there a little bit. You need to be, in the end, I think if you're going to win the golf tournament, you look at the list of past champions at this particular venue, at least in the last 100 years. Brooks Koepka, Retief Goosen, who, got struck by lightning as a kid and was kind of had this superpower his entire career. Corey Pavin, who's one of the all-time Bulldogs. I mean, you think about him. And then Raymond Floyd, who's just this steely-eyed competitor. So I just think I had this word steely attached to who's going to win this thing. So I think that overall, I mean, in terms of just being in the mix and maybe getting it done, you certainly have to be a good driver of the golf ball, and a really top shelf iron player. And then you're going to have to kind of navigate with your short game. I remember Brooks Koepka made a lot of really clutch putts, some up and downs where, he took double bogey out of play and then maybe made a long par putt. So you just got to really be in it all week long as best as you can and survive.
Does this turn into like an equalizer for guys who might have a hot hand coming into to this weekend? Or do you still see some guys that might have maybe some confidence over the past few just tournaments that they played in that gives them maybe an extra advantage going in?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like it's interesting. You always want to be playing better coming into one of these things. You can find it. I think when they're coming from the Canadian Open last week, a lot of these guys that, a lot easier scoring, it can work, both ways where you be like, have some false confidence maybe because now all of a sudden you're on a big boy test. I mean, one guy in particular that I'm kind of intrigued to see how he plays this week, that's been gradually playing a little bit better is like a guy like Victor Hovland, who's kind of fallen off the radar for a lot of people. He's a bit of a long shot this week, but, I think he's worth a flyer. He was fourth in Canada. He finished third at last year's U.S. Open, and he's starting to trend a little bit. So I think someone like that is an interesting play. But there's some guys that are coming in even better form than that we're kind of interested to see what they do.
How do you feel about Cam Young's form coming in versus his skill set matched with the golf course?
Yeah, I looked at Cam Young, and he was my pick there at the PGA, and I think that ultimately ended up being a poor course fit for him. And when I looked at the data set, it didn't look great for him coming in. He looked like he was a little bit off. He's a New Yorker, so I was kind of banking on that. I definitely think he'll poke his head in there, but it didn't look like his form was quite good enough to maybe contend this week.
So the leader in terms of betting odds is Scottie Scheffler. No surprise there. Next after him is Rory and Jon Rahm. Out of that group of top three, who do you like most in terms of fit for the course and how they're playing right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think Scheffler, he's one that I had pegged earlier on the year for this one. I don't know, you get kind of sentimental, and it's Father's Day Sunday, and he's going for the career Grand Slam. I mean, that kind of seems like a very Scottie Scheffler time to win on a classic golf course. And I definitely think that he fits that steely-eyed competitor frame. Interestingly with Scheffler, I would say only won once this year. So he's got a ton of seconds and thirds, and you kind of wonder where he is mentally. If you could question anything, does he have that, that mindset that he had the last 3 years that has just been so good for him in terms of hoisting trophies. So the other one out of that group is Jon Rahm that I think, is coming in. He finished second at the PGA. He just finished second last week in Spain. He's maybe riding some World Cup Spanish, momentum as well. So, I think Jon Rahm's playing really well and still is trying to prove some things. So out of those three, definitely Scheffler. And then I think between McIlroy and Rahm, I like Rahm a little more this week.
Do you like Rahm's trajectory right now? Like, I know you just mentioned, obviously, he's kind of picking up some steam too, but do you feel like he can continue that past this weekend?
I do. I think, he's one of the best players in the world, and I think he's kind of settled in with where he is in the golf space right now in terms of playing on LIV and that kind of being where he's going to be for this summer. But also, I think he's kind of peeking forward to, maybe a return to the PGA Tour in the future, but knowing that he's in all these majors. So I think he's a little bit more comfortable with where he's at right now than, say, last year. And I think that's showing with kind of how he's playing these bigger events. So I think he's going to pick one off here soon, whether it's this year, certainly by next year. I just think he's too good to kind of hold down too long.
What do you do with the PGA Championship winner, Aaron Rai here?
Yeah, Rai. It's kind of an interesting spot for him. What a win for him. And it was one of those things, we didn't quite know what we were going to get with that golf course, and he just picked it apart, and he putted amazing. He was super clutch, and he's been knocking on the door for a couple of years in terms of just winning more and more golf tournaments. He's been playing at a really high level. I think he was sneaky, inside the top 25 in the world rankings before the PGA and just kind of got overlooked. So I think for a guy like him, certainly he hits it straight enough, and is consistent enough to kind of put himself in the mix. I would be shocked if he had a top five this week. maybe just kind of spent a little too much, at the PGA Championship, and probably not quite as good of a course fit, I would say, here for him.
Is there anybody that you're looking at, like, kind of as a long shot? DB and Shane and I always like to pick our long shots.
Yeah.
Who are you looking at kind of down the line there that you're like, that kind of makes a little sense?
Yeah, I kind of want to save it a little bit for the end, but I'm gonna go with a long shot winner this week. That's just kind of a little bit off the rails that has some stats to go with it. But before we get there, some other guys that are a little deeper down the board, that have been playing well. That I think Patrick Reed. We've talked about him a lot. This year, he's been on record as saying this is one of his favorite golf courses in the world. The first time first time he played in the U.S. Open here in 2018, he had an outstanding finish. I was trying to check my notes here to see where he finished, but he was fourth, in 2018. He finished 10th at the PGA. The last time out. He's got 2 wins on the calendar year, non-live, and he's scrappy enough. So I think he's an interesting one, a little further down the board. Another guy, I mentioned Hovland. I think I think Tyrrell Hatton could really play well here this week. He's at like 40 to 1. As I throw out the Irish boxer just in front of him. You're a boy, Ricky Hatton. All right, Tyrrell Hatton, at 40 to 1, and he's another guy that played well here in 2018. He's the one that won last week on the Live Tour when they were in Spain. So plays well in the wind. Is his mindset enough to kind of cash a U.S. Open? I always kind of like to get on Patrick Cantlay's bandwagon, and he's been playing better, but still has some stuff to prove. And I think Wyndham Clark's super interesting coming in here this week too. Like he's
interesting.
Got a hot hand, past U.S. Open champion, 50 to 1. You got a guy that's coming in playing really well, and he backed up that win, with a great finish at the Memorial, which is an outstanding golf course. And so I don't think you can sleep on Wyndham Clark this week. So those are some guys that are maybe, in that 40, 50, 60 range that I feel like could make some noise this week. I still didn't mention my winner in there, but I like Xander as well this week. I think he's playing well, and has the mindset to do it. So I like him. He's a little higher up there at the top.
Speaking of past champions, how much value do you put, obviously, especially at the U.S. Open, as opposed to the Masters, say, when you're doing different courses every year, like skill sets vary widely in terms of whether a past champion's, success previously will translate. But how much value do you put in that with like say JJ Spawn, who won last year, right? Who's I think plus 6,000 or like not considered a favorite at all this year. Like, how much do you put value in just the experience of being a champion, having got through one of these? I think we view the U.S. Open in terms of like course difficulty, especially, like very differently than we do the Masters, where we typically see some lower numbers.
Right.
How much value do you put in that for a guy like JJ Spawn or any other former champions that are in the field?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting one with the U.S. Open. If you look at that trophy, there's a fair number of repeat champions. A guy like Lee Jansen comes to mind, right? So Curtis Strange comes to. So there's a formula, right? And I think we talked about that at the beginning a little bit. So and there's guys that have the mentality to get it done. So I do think it's possible, to kind of either, go back to back or win a couple in your career. Bryson DeChambeau, another guy that's won two U.S. Opens. So as far as Spawn this week, he's hitting it great. His putting's been a little bit inconsistent, but I would expect him to kind of put up a valiant defense. I hit him kind of like Rye a little bit, maybe limited on the distance side, which I think you see like a guy like Corey Pavin won here back in 1994, never a long hitter. I think there's a path, to get it done. You're kind of hoping that Reed can figure out what that path is, but I think the problem becomes when there's so many guys at the top that are playing well that do hit it far, then you really have to be, quite perfect with how you play. Like, thinking about like a guy like Russell Henley this week too, certainly been playing a lot better in the majors, been playing well recently, can do it, just has to be pretty flawless, within what a flawless U.S. Open looks like,
As you're, talking about some of these guys that you said JJ's hitting it pretty well. Is there anybody you're just like, man, I really don't. really don't like how they're playing right now.
Yeah, really don't like how they're playing right now. Well, I think honestly, I think, the two most fascinating players that I'm interested to see how they play, who are playing well, is I think Fitzpatrick and Fleetwood. I just think I'm really interested to see how they play because Fleetwood was second here in 18. He had two of the lowest rounds of the week, and then he had a 75 and a 78 that week. So is Tommy confident enough to be a U.S. Open champion? And then Fitzpatrick, you got to talk about which one now. I'm talking about Matthew. Although Alex is playing phenomenal golf right now. I mean, there's nobody that's winning more than Matthew Fitzpatrick right now in the world, and he's won a U.S. Open before, so that could be his second to tick off. I don't know if he's putting, like if he's a timely enough putter, and that other one, that win came at a place he was super familiar with, had great vibes on winning the USAM there. So I'm most interested about those two. I think, Rory McIlroy has, been much more inconsistent with his finishes and his short game, and he's only played 3 times since the Masters. So I think for him to kind of all of a sudden put it together this week on this venue, I'm a little bit more surprised by Rory winning, especially out of the guys at the top.
All right, John. So I'm going to give you we made our picks yesterday.
Okay.
I'm going to give you our teams, and you tell me which team you like the best. And I do want to put this out here. No pressure on you or anything. You did pick my team last for the PGA, and I did win. So
I was wrong. You were right.
I just want to put that out there. Give you a little.
Don't let him know who drafted who. Let's keep it anonymous.
Yeah,
that way he's not influenced.
All right. So the team won.
Yeah.
We got Scheffler, Schauffele, Matthew Fitzpatrick, Henley, and Matsuyama.
Oh, wow.
Team 2, we have Rahm, Fleetwood, Young, Burns, and Tagala.
Okay.
And team 3, we have McIlroy, Oberg, Morikawa, Rose, and Rye.
I mean, I'm team 1 in a landslide personally. So who's team 1?
That would be Shane.
Shane's always. I love Shane's teams. Always.
You always love Shane's teams. Always love Shane's teams.
Shane's fist pumping in the booth right now.
Now I will say Austin did gift the number 1 pick to Shane.
I did.
Okay.
So that is a factor here.
I'll take care of your producer.
Yeah, us producers stick together.
I mean, yeah, all right, I guess.
I appreciate that.
No problem, Shane.
So who was your sleeper pick that you wanted to put out?
Right. Yeah. So my sleeper pick that, if people follow golf, they're going to know the name, but I just want to give you a little profile. I know we're on our way out here.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
This guy's got 6 wins this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's the number 1 amateur in the world. And this is probably his last week as an amateur. He's 48th in the data golf rankings, which is just kind of replaced the world golf rankings, a little more data driven, but he does not play on a professional tour, but he has almost won some pro events on PGA Tour. He missed the cut in his only U.S. Open start, which was last year, but he gained in approach and putting. His amateur rankings, just if you look at his career as an amateur, they're greater than Rahm's, better than Spieth's, better than Cantley's. Only Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, and John Rahm have ever reached double-digit collegiate wins, and this guy's done that. He's the first player in history to sweep the Haskins Award, the Hogan Award, and the Nicklaus, the Player of the Year, twice. And I think it could be a real coming out party for my boy Jackson Coven.
Okay.
I'm 100 to 1, maybe deeper. You can find him. The last amateur to win the U.S. Open, obviously, a lot of people from Omaha know that name, right? You can go play that golf course any day of the week. Johnny Goodman, 1933. And so I'm just going to call it here. I mean, I took Xander at the Masters. He finished 9th. Cam Young, whatever. He finished 23rd at the PGA. I'm going to go out on a limb. My boy Dave Flynn caddies for him. I'm going to say Jackson Coven is your 2026 U.S. Open champion out there at Shinnecock Hills. So that's my long shot prediction that I think could come true. We'll see what he does.
Jackson Coven, you heard it here first. The 21-year-old out of
Auburn.
That's
a young face.
There we go. Yeah, he looks like all the kids that I work with, John.
Right, exactly. And don't be fooled by him, Ravi. he will take you down.
He's got that baby face. You got to watch out for those baby face assassins. Great stuff there, John. We appreciate it as always. And I hope the exact same thing happens last time where you slept on my picks and then I win again.
Yeah, I would be okay with that, Ravi. I'm on your team too.
I appreciate that, John. Have a good one, buddy.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks, John.
That's John Rathouz, former PGA caddy, giving us a little U.S. Open insights.
Picking a 21-year-old.
I hope that guy wins.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd rock.
That'd be
because
a really
it
cool
evens
story.
the field out.
I also, I
For
hope
our picks.
I kind of hope he makes a run so that, Johnny Goodman and Omaha get a little run.
Yeah.
It'll be like first time since, and then doesn't win so that Johnny Goodman still has the record.
Okay.
That's the best of both
That's
worlds.
how pro Omaha you are.
Yeah.
You want Omaha to be mentioned, but not Omaha to be broken.
100%.
Okay.
You
All
know?
right.
Listen, I'm fully Omaha pilled. We know this.
Yep.
We know
I
this.
thought it was just Millard North. So
No, there's a hierarchy. It goes Millard North and then
Okay.
Omaha and then Nebraska, but I'm fully on board with all three.
okay. All right.
Once people, this was the Jet Tamala thing, right? Once you leave high school, now he's just an Omaha guy and we're all in.
Yeah. See, because it won't say hometown Millard.
No, it'll say hometown Omaha.
Bang.
Boom.
Yeah.
We like to see it, Gotta represent those Omaha kids.
Maybe he'll beat Auburn and Jackson Coven. Who knows?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe. I will say, can't wait to see when Trey Taylor suits up for Nebraska in the future. Just hometown Omaha, Nebraska. That's where he's from now. Listen, if we can
Is
claim
that how hometowns work?
if we can claim
Maybe.
if we can claim the first 3 years of Andy Roddick, I'm certainly claiming the last year of Trey Taylor.
That is true.
Come
Yeah.
on, man.
That'll make sense. Yeah. That math adds up to me.
See, the math is mathing. Let's take a quick break here. That's Austin. I'm Ravi. We'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live coming up.
It's time to slide into savings at Edwards Chevrolet. Lease the 2026 Chevy Trax LT for just $349 a month, $0 down with your first payment due at signing. 2 great Chevys, one big June event. Slide into a 2026 Chevy Equinox LT for just $399 a month, $0 down with your first payment due at signing. Get to Edwards Chevrolet today. Together, let's drive.
You came all the way from Japan. Take me through all these travels to get here to Omaha.
Well, we left Canada and we went just through Minneapolis and then we came over to Omaha. But it's kind of a big time change and it was about 15 hours total, but we had a blast. It's kind of like a once in a lifetime opportunity, so we just did what we got to do.
How surreal is it to see him on the biggest stage of college baseball right now?
It's absolutely surreal, but all the credit goes to the entire Dogs Nation and the team and the coaches, and we couldn't have asked for a better place for him to be. So,
would you have thought this would be possible for him when you think to the younger Kenny?
Never would have thought, but man upstairs has different plans sometimes. So.
Why do you say that? What kind of changed with him to allow him to be here?
Well, I think that his original plan was do 4 years in Japan and go pro or whatnot. But changes in coaching staff, other opportunities and offers came, and we said go for it. That's your story, your life. Take a leap of faith and just do what you know how to do best, and that's stay consistent and be diligent and do the work you know how to do. So.
Well, we know this team loves to have fun. Are you guys all in on the sour power?
Oh, yeah. All in on the sour power for sure.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. Want to remind you, give our friends over at Next Gen Mail Medical a call, 402-614-9700. I have a feeling some of my coworkers may need to give them a call after this week, get a little pep back in their step. It's been a
Do
little.
they have anti-sunburn stuff? Because I feel like a lot of our team is under the radar burnt.
I don't think they have they don't think they have sunburn stuff. They do have rehydration.
That could work.
Vitamin shots that can get you back on your feet. They've got some healing peptides as well, whether it's your BPC 157, your TB 500. They'll get you right if you need a little recovery, which, again, I think some people on the team might need after this. It's been a grind. It's fun. But it is a grind. Give them a call, 402-614-9700. If you've got a little bit of a grind yourself, they can help you get you back on your feet. Tell them that Hurrdat Sports Live sent you, and you'll get a free vitamin shot with your order as well. Yeah, I do think it's I'm a big, don't complain about your job when you have our job.
Yeah.
Guy, right? You
remember a couple of weeks ago when I was telling you, I was like, sometimes I just want to tell you guys, we need more breaks because it makes my job easier and all that other stuff. I want you to think of me.
Yeah.
And then when I was going to complain about it, I was like, I took a step back and I said, I'm a podcast producer. My job's not that hard.
Yeah. Especially when it's especially when you've got the juxtaposition of your own house of
it's kind of tough. Yeah.
My fiance is a doctor dealing with, very sick children or whatever.
Yep.
And it's that's a little perspective there.
Which I can say this is not a HIPAA violation. It's been posted. It's been out. Only team, and this can change. There's 2 teams still left. Only team so far from the College World Series to visit Children's Hospital. Troy.
We love Troy.
Only team.
We love Troy.
I
would like to talk to Coach Meade again anyway, just see how his time in Omaha was. I think we should do that.
And I was telling you this yesterday. I think we were talking about off the air, but Troy did all of the full Omaha experience.
Yeah.
And the way that Meade was talking about, this is better than the Rose Bowl. Now we know what it means to be here, because I think I hadn't thought about that at all in terms of just sports in general, but how correct he was in saying, so many times I've been at a lot of places, and obviously he had been on the Louisville team. He was a pitcher on that team that had made it to the College World Series before, so he had played kind of in this environment. But when you use it as a coach and you keep saying okay, our goal is the road to Omaha. We want to get to Charles Schwab Field, all that stuff, but you've never physically been there. It's so different. And Troy, for better or worse, I think they did have that wide-eyed open approach where they're
especially in game 1.
Yeah. Take it all in, don't the moment is big, soak it all in, do that sort of stuff. And maybe it affected them that first day, but they made it a game further than Ole Miss did. And they had a chance to rematch and obviously couldn't get it done, but they were the team that couldn't die. People were very nervous playing Troy.
Yeah.
But regardless of all of the on-field play, they soaked up the moment more than any other team, I feel like. And I'm not just saying that just because I have a bias for them, going to visit sick kids in Omaha. They did a lot of the Omaha landmarks. They did a lot of that sort of stuff too. And yes, could they have done the business trip aspect of it like North Carolina has or some of these other, the last 2 teams have and whatnot? Sure, they could have. But at the end of the day, this is probably the furthest a lot of these kids are going to be able to go for their baseball careers. What a way. What a way to just experience your baseball tenure.
Yeah, I struggle sometimes with the kind of balance between enjoying the moment that you've got and kind of buckling down and saying, hey, we are only focusing on I would be very surprised if North Carolina has done very many Omaha things.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know,
I haven't seen much of anything from them.
Yeah, and now, to be fair, they were here 2 years ago, right? So I think a lot of the players on this team were still on that team. So that's part of it,
And to give them also this part too, most of these teams stayed downtown, right?
Yes.
So they were saying their send-offs were at the Hilton, all that sort of stuff. Like they posted
Hilton,
publicly.
Marriott, they're all,
I'm not giving away, I'm not doxing information by any means, but
the hotels advertise that the teams are staying there. Like this isn't private information.
So when you are staying in these areas, downtown Omaha is a great place, but you're not getting the Omaha experience.
The full Omaha experience, yeah.
You have to, something has to be planned for you to go out and do other things.
You have to go out of your way. Now, you can get a great taste of Omaha as a kind of event city, as the old market and downtown, and, even the zoo kind of extended to that downtown area. But, if you want the full Omaha experience, you do have to kind of go out of your way to plan it. And I struggle with the balance of, like, I feel like I'm a realist when it comes to, what's possible, who's doing what and whatever. And like Troy probably wasn't going to win the national championship.
Probably. Yeah.
Right. Like
if you do the series 100 times.
Yeah. And I know that Skylar Meade is a supremely confident guy. I know he doesn't put limits on what his program's capable of. I also think he probably has an understanding of like what his team looks like in comparison to some of these other teams. And not that he goes in thinking we can't win a national championship, but he might go in thinking like you said, hey, I don't know if we're going to make it back next year. We're probably have to retool some things. Like you have some challenges at Troy that you don't have other places, and probably looks at it and goes, this is maybe the last baseball that some of these guys are going to play. Probably. I mean, for a lot of guys, regardless of the team, it's the last baseball you're ever going to play. Like, let's make sure this is an experience that we remember positively, whether we win the national championship or not.
Yeah.
And that's not like, I know some people will be like, oh, you can't concede. I'm not saying you concede the national championship, but there is something to, I don't know. We talked about this with like Matt Rule last year in the offseason, right? Where it's like, oh, he's doing a podcast. He's doing this. And he's flying everywhere it's like, okay, whatever. Do you think he watches film 24/7? Do you think anybody in the country watches film? Like, no, that's not how any of this works.
What's the most you can get out of it, right?
Yeah, like there's a point of diminishing returns if you're not sleeping or having any sort of leisure time in your life or whatever, that if you're working 18 hours a day every day, like there is a point where you are not helping yourself anymore, where you are actually probably actively harming yourself. And so it's like, okay, if you're Troy, maybe you are a little nervous, right? Maybe you don't have a frame of reference for this place or this opportunity. And it helps you to say, hey, let's go do some other things. Let's stop thinking about baseball for 2 hours today. Right? Like you can only practice for so long. You can only go over scouting reports for so long before it just stops sticking and you're not able to focus anymore. Like, let's go spend 2 hours not thinking about baseball today.
Right.
And I do think there's and
make it all small, right? Like just shrink it all down, because that's the other part too. You're used to playing in front of small crowds. You're used to playing on long road trips. You're used to doing all this sort of stuff. So make it as normal as possible, right? Like just do something that makes you feel comfortable where you are. Make Omaha, for as small of a market as it is on the national stage, make Omaha as tiny as you can. Make it home for you.
And I think there's part of it too, where just judging by what we talked about with Coach Meade before they got here, I do think there's a part of it where it's like, hey, there's more important things to life in baseball. I want you to be good people. I want you to have the ability to recognize, like, win or lose, you can still carry yourself in a certain way. And I think that's where you have like going to visit kids at the hospital and things like that, where it's like, hey, to other people, they may not recognize you from anybody. Like they might, like, you're from Troy, like whatever to other people. But when you go to a hospital and they say, hey, you're going to meet some guys that are playing in the College World Series, you're a hero to those kids. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter if you never play baseball again. It doesn't matter if you're not even good for Troy.
Yeah.
You might be somebody like has like 12 at-bats all year. You're a hero to those kids because you're playing in the College World Series. And that's a super cool thing that I don't know that everybody appreciates. And I think giving that perspective to your players and to your team, I think does kind of help work against, hey, there's 30,000 people here. We usually play in front of 300 people, right? Or, hey, that super regional was super cool. We're still talking about 10 times more fans in the stands for that. Like, and it's a like you get big eyes. Like it's a different thing. So I do think it's super interesting. I do think we should talk to talk to Coach Meade again, just to talk about his experience here in Omaha and why he kind of did the things that he did.
Yeah, and I'd like to know the other things that they did too.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
like I want to know, for lack of better phrasing, the inside baseball of what there's so much time in a day. And like you said, you can go to Omaha and you can go to Creighton and you can do all your hitting practices. You can go out to Millard South. You can go to all these other facilities that they have in Nebraska or into Omaha that they send out the College World Series teams to go, infield practice, all that sort of stuff, right? But that's at most, including the travel to and from your hotel, like 4 hours on your off day
at most.
So you got to do other stuff. So how much of that time do you spend in the hotel? How, do you let the guys like walk out, just onto the streets? Like how many, because when here's the other part about like the baseball players too. And I saw this just, being on the field and like being around and all that other stuff. You throw normal street clothes on a lot of these baseball players, they look like everybody else. Yeah. Right.
They look like normal dudes.
And that's not discrediting like how good of athletes or anything that they are or anything like that. But like, we're not talking about like, if a Nebraska offensive lineman was walking down the street, a lot of people would be like, that's a huge guy, but that guy plays football.
Or like rink mask, right? Like he's like, that guy's 6'10". Yeah. He looks different, right?
Pretty noticeable, right?
But more of them look like Sam Hoiberg, where it's like, that's a pretty normal looking guy.
Yeah. So how many of these guys like walked through downtown and went to, just Ted and Wally's, or they went to Coneflower, or they went to like any of these places,
were walking through Baseball Village, just hanging out.
Yep.
And I don't think, you're right.
They would pass us by, and of course we're media trained. We're like, we should grab these players and stuff, but they would walk by so nonchalantly
that you're like, wait, was that?
Yeah.
I think that was.
I think that was the whole Texas baseball team that just walked by. Yeah.
And it's funny because, it's not like they go out in only the team gear, but there's so many people wearing so much team issue gear anyway that like it's not unusual to just see somebody head to toe in team colors. They got the hat and the whole thing. And you're like, well, I guess that's a student.
Yeah, right.
Like, you don't think twice about it. It's a super interesting dynamic. And it has this sort of quality of both being a small town college event feel where it's just like, oh yeah, the guys that are going to play tomorrow just walking through with everybody else, and also being an enormous event.
It's a county fair. It really is, because you can walk the same path that you and I take to go get our ice cream or a funnel cake or something is 400 yards away from there playing the biggest stage of college baseball.
Oh, I need to get a funnel cake. I haven't had a funnel cake yet.
I don't think they have any down there. I don't think they have any.
In Baseball Village or inside? Or both?
Inside they probably do, but I've not seen any in the Baseball Village.
I think I'm gonna go on Sunday.
What's the best thing you've eaten in the Baseball Village this week?
Ooh, that's interesting. It might be the gyro.
Mine is gyro.
The gyro was
raw.
Chicken sandwich.
The gyro
was a couple of chicken sandwiches.
Gyro was really good.
Yeah.
I don't count places that I have outside of base. So like Runza is obviously great, but like I get Runza. There's one like I could throw a rock and hit the Runza from our office, right? So like that doesn't count. But shout out to our friends at Runza.
I've loved all the novelty of all of the opposing fans, or I guess fans that are not from here, right? Like there's Nebraska people that are milling about. The Nebraska people, I've seen a couple of people wavering in the Runza line. 95% of the Runza line has been outside fans, which is great. I loved it.
Yeah, 100%. And it's so like I was in that line to get, because I was getting Rico some food because he had to stay back at the tent. So I went to go grab him some food.
You getting Rico lunch?
And, I know, right? And so I'm standing behind a couple guys, and they're like looking at it. They're like, oh, "What is that? It looks like a sort of a sandwich, but it's enclosed." Like they were like going through the whole.
Yeah,
I think somebody was like,
"It probably looks incredibly like it's like out of this world when they're looking at it."
It kind of looks like a giant hot pocket. And I was like, "Whoa." Not a hot pocket.
Not a hot pocket, brother.
Not a hot pocket.
Get it with cheese, though.
Like, is that sort of like a calzone? And I was like, just get the one with cheese. You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. You're going to like it.
You'll be all right.
You're going to like it.
Just try okay.
Those things came out piping hot, too.
They did.
The amount of people that I saw bite in.
Oh, geez. Yeah. No, Runza did really. But so I really liked the gyro. The gyro was fantastic.
Did you upgrade to the spicy gyro?
No, I did not.
I'm thinking I might try it.
You think so?
I might.
The regular gyro was
I'm a little nervous about it, though.
Great mix of flavors.
Not that I can't help the spice. I just don't want to ruin my attitude with the gyro.
The corn dog is absolute gas.
Oh, color me shocked. This guy likes a corn dog.
I haven't had the corn dog yet, although the one that Kenny had yesterday looked like it had a great breading to hot dog ratio, which I appreciate.
Also piping hot. I got a walking corn dog back to my car yesterday after I left.
Yeah.
It was the right move.
The cheese curds are fantastic.
Okay, I did not get cheese curds. I think I've stolen a few from others though.
I'm gonna be honest with you here. This is, and I don't want to disparage anybody, so I'm not gonna name any names in terms of places. I haven't had a good hot dog in Baseball Village yet.
You're 100% correct.
I'm
100%
pretty disappointed, especially because there was one place that legitimately was just like hot dogs.
Yep.
And I was like, come on, man.
Give me the dog. Yep.
Disappointed.
I saw it. The color came out and I was like, this isn't what I wanted it to be.
The birria tacos are amazing.
The birria tacos
were good. I have not had the birria tacos, but so I've been debating. I should have done birria taco yesterday, but I instead was like, I'll just do ice cream for lunch. And
Zesto's always a winner.
Now when I go back for the championship weekend, Saturday, Sunday at least, I might just have to hit Euro.
Dude,
that's where I'm at because it was so good.
Yeah. And then you have FOMO. You're like, I should have got the Euro.
I know. Yep.
Also, I will say the noodle place that everybody was kind of obsessed with, I thought a little overrated.
Okay.
It smelled fantastic.
It does. Yep.
And the food was pretty good. I'll be honest, they went real heavy on the vegetable to noodle ratio. I wasn't a fan.
Yeah. Well, Kenny made a good point though yesterday. No pizza in the village either.
That's true. We need to get some pizza in the village.
Yeah.
We need to find some
call
people
Megan.
to get
Call
pizza
Megan,
in the
get
village.
Paizones
Be like,
there.
hey, let's go. Let's get some pizza in the village.
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break. We'll get to Brian Edwards coming up next year on Hurrdat Sports Live.
It's time to slide into savings at Edwards Nissan. Lease the 2026 Nissan Rogue Platinum starting at $379 a month, a platinum lease worth driving home. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2026 Nissan Pathfinder SV starting at $399 a month while supplies last. Don't miss your pitch. Slide into savings at Edwards Nissan.
You also plan to continue being a multi-sport athlete at Milford?
Yeah, I think that's been the plan. I talked to Danny while I was on the call, and one of my questions was if I would have to graduate early because I do like playing basketball and track in the spring. So she said that it's something that I can decide, but we'll see how I'm taking classes so I can graduate early. But when it gets to that point, I can decide.
Yeah. How passionate are you about continuing to run track and also participate in basketball?
Yeah, basketball with my friends is so much fun. I've been playing with them since I was in second grade YMCA, so being able to come back my senior year would be really cool.
listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We are joined now by Brian Edwards from Major Wager. B, what's going on, buddy? How we doing?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. How are y'all?
We're doing pretty good. Just got a little day off from the CWS, so we can catch our breath a little bit here, which is always a positive. I know your Gators didn't make it this year, but you've been tuning in to the College World Series anyway.
I saw a couple of Gators in the Omaha Baseball Village, though.
There's been a pretty good Florida contingent for not being here.
Really? I watched a little bit of Troy against Ole Miss. What was that? Saturday after or Sunday afternoon?
Sunday afternoon.
Troy was down 1, and I'm kind of close to Troy, and I've got a buddy who played for them, who I've been seeing on his social media, a bunch of stuff. So I was quasi interested, and I looked at the live line, and they were plus 246, and I just put a little 20 spot on it for giggles. And then they took the lead. I took Ole Miss plus 1.5 at plus money for 20, hoping Troy would win by 1. I ended up making a small profit, like $20 or something, but that was it. And I saw Troy was playing the other day, and then I forgot about it that afternoon. They got crushed.
Yeah, they're eliminated, but we loved Troy while they were here. I have to ask you a question here. You mentioned Ole Miss in that elimination game here. You've experienced more SEC fans than we have, right? Our exposure to them is generally limited to when they're at the College World Series and when they, occasionally Nebraska will play them in like a bowl game historically or something like that, right? Are Ole Miss fans the worst fans in the SEC?
So it's interesting you asked me that. So my cousin's daughter was just a freshman at Ole Miss, and I went to the Florida at Vanderbilt game, Billy Bob Napier's first year. We lost, and I said I would never go to another game for Florida football as long as Napier was the head coach. So he got fired, and my cousin bought a house for his daughter up there, but I guess they have a rule at Ole Miss, you got to live in the dorms freshman year. So I was like, all right, Napier's fired. Are you going to that game? I want to go. So I went and stayed at his house. Had so much fun. I went back in February for the Gator basketball game. So I got to experience Ole Miss fans twice this year. They're not my favorites.
Okay, that's where we are.
They're not my favorites. I don't know that I would put them in dead last. I have a more contentious relationship with Georgia and Tennessee and
sure, that's fair.
Some
that's
others,
fair.
But they're not my favorites. Definitely not my favorites. They were a little lippy during football, for sure.
I was going to say, I think just the Ole Miss fans we interacted with, it felt like they were just so much holier than thou. Like they didn't want to give us the time of day.
Like super pretentious.
Yeah, just no fun. And I can understand where your beef has come because that's like a rivalry matchup. But like I've had no issue with any of the other fan bases. Pretty neutral conversations we talked about earlier. Ole Miss, I just can't stand those people. I mean, they just did not want to be here. If they just were not wanting to have any fun.
Right. I could see that. Yeah, they are definitely the I would say pretentious is a good word. And Mississippi State is more the cowboy school, and they obviously hate each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no, I'm not a big fan.
All right. Well, I'm glad we're not totally missing the boat there because
no, we're on the same page. I reserve more vitriol for some other groups that have more competitive football teams through the decades.
Naturally.
Well, and that makes sense. Like you've got the rivalries there. I understand that. But I feel like for a random fan base to get your ire, I do feel like that says a lot about who Ole Miss is as a fan base, which like, again, like we're their hosts here, right? Basically, like we're like, you're mean to the Omaha people. Like, what are we doing?
It's like being in a restaurant and you're obnoxious to your servers. You're just asking for them to spit in your food. I mean, it's just stupid.
Yeah, it's like,
which to be fair, I have been spitting in Ole Miss's food this entire time. Not
figuratively.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On this show, I have publicly lambasted them multiple times.
Yeah, we've been dragging them basically the entire time. And we celebrated when they got eliminated first. We were like, get out of here, Ole Miss.
Yes, I like it.
I'm glad we weren't totally out of line here. I'm glad that's a common thread through Ole Miss fans.
Hey, let me ask you this. How much did Damon, because I forget, are you that big? Did you watch the UFC fights?
I did. Yeah, I'm not nearly as big into UFC. I know like Gaethje had like an incredible performance, and so that one, and then
Damon. What did Damon have to say about Gaethje?
So we haven't talked a ton about it yet.
I think he sent us some text. Let me see if I can find them.
I know that like just the absolute like carnage that was put on a couple of those guys was. I mean, I know you texted I think you sent in the group chat a little bit some of the photos and stuff of just how brutal the beatings were, and like that was, I mean, one of the most, I think probably one of the most complete performances. I watch casually to the big fights. One of the most complete performances as a fighter I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, Justin Gaethje was absolutely incredible. It was, and 7 fights and 7 knockouts. That now you usually have 11, 12, maybe 13 fights, but only twice in UFC history has every fight been a knockout. Now, granted, it was only 7 fights compared to more, but a card delivering was, and then just Gaethje, the walkout. He's in the Oval Office, and I just thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, super entertaining card. And I mean, decisions are fine, but everybody's here for the knockouts, right? Like that's how'd you do in terms of your betting on it?
So thank goodness for Gaethje. I went 3-4, but I had Gaethje plus 400, so I ended up like plus 3.3 units of profit. But like if Gaethje loses, I have a bad, or I'm not too bad, but I mean I won on Lopez, the under on Chandler, but I tried for several dogs and missed out, and except for Gaethje. So I ended up doing well thanks to Gaethje.
Have you been paying attention at all? And we'll get to our Big Ten teams here in just a second. But do you bet the World Cup at all?
I haven't made a bet this year, but I've kind of been paying a little bit of attention to, or a little more than I would normally, and I'm definitely going to watch America tomorrow.
Yeah, so there's a guy I saw on like either TikTok or Instagram where he's betting a draw for every single game, and he is crushing it because there's been so the Spain Cabo Verde result was huge for him. He made like I think a couple grand on that one by itself, and then there was a couple other.
Congo and Portugal yesterday.
Congo and Portugal yesterday was a huge the draw was a huge upset.
Like so big underdog odds on the draw.
Yeah, like he's getting huge plus money on some of these, like over plus 1,000 on some of these on the draws, which it was. I always find it fascinating. Like people do this with March Madness sometimes too, where they just bet the underdog in every single first round game basically, and just to see where they end up. And I think he's got to the point where he's almost to the point where he can put he's just putting $100 on every game. He can put, I think, $100 on every game and still end up even if he doesn't win another one of them. Like
he's the rest of the way.
He's getting really close to being at that point, and he's like barely a third of the way in. So I don't know. It's just fascinating when I see people like try out systems like that. And man, Cabo Verde did a huge solid for him.
I didn't see that. What did they have a late shot to get it a draw?
Well, no, it was. Spain was just an enormous favorite. Spain and France are like two favorites to win the tournament. So they're
big underdog odds.
Just huge underdog odds on that one. But let's get to. I think I would consider both of these teams underdogs in the Big Ten this year. We wanted to talk Northwestern first and foremost, which I think is a super interesting team. Obviously, with David Braun there and. Just you have some transfer quarterbacks coming in with Childs, and I don't really know what to make of this situation. Their number, I've got it at 5.5B. What intrigues you about them? Positive, negative? What did you want to talk about here?
Well, Chip Kelly. Well, I mean, what an interesting hire. Right? I mean, who? I mean, like, how much do they have? If I should have Googled that. I wonder, like. Did they have to reach deep in the pockets to get Chip Kelly? So I read where they have not finished better than 93rd in the nation in scoring offense since 2017. So, I mean, look, they gave up only 19.8 points per game last year, and they've got 4 of their top 6 tacklers coming back. They got a good secondary. They got a good running back room. Aiden Childs has been, but he's got 20 career starts. 24-14 TDI-NT ratio the last 2 years with Sparty. You will see, but then the other kid from West Virginia, he's got some experience, but, he had the season-ending injury last year. I don't know where he is health-wise. So, I guess it's probably going to be Childs to start the year. And here's just Phil Steele's national unit rankings. Here's where he had them: 62 at QB, 26 at running back, 63 wide receiver, 62 O-line, 44 linebacker, 47 in the secondary, 65 special teams. Their D-line was not ranked. So might have some issues there. But look, they had a really good defense last year. And I look at the schedule, and I've got them 4-4 with 4 swing games. And I've got the swing games, and they 5.5, right? So, yeah, they got to get to 6. Swing games being Penn State at home, who they beat last year, at Minnesota, who they beat by 3 at home last year, Illinois, who they lost 20-13 at Illinois last year, and then at Sparty. I like their chances to win at Sparty. I think they probably lose at Minnesota, so let's call it 5-5. And can they get one at home against Penn State or Illinois? And I think they got a pretty good chance to get just one of those. So I would lean over. I'm not saying I'm gonna bet it, but I would definitely lean over. Gun to the head, had to pick it, I would go over.
I'm fascinated by the Childs and Chip Kelly pairing, right? Like, if anybody's going to get, because Childs is very talented, right? Like, pretty highly talented guy. He was highly touted coming out. If anybody's going to be able to get out of him what they need, it probably is Chip Kelly. I know that his name has lost a lot of luster over the years, but he was pretty damn good with Ohio State a couple of years ago with Will Howard. That was a pretty significant team in terms of their offensive abilities. So I'm fascinated by the Childs and Chip Kelly pairing. And then I just kind of assume David Braun's going to have a good defense, right? Like, that's kind of what he does. And so, like, they are a super intriguing pick, and their schedule is not terrible. I know they get Ohio State and Oregon, but like, outside of that, like, you get Indiana early, but I don't know, it's really not terrible.
Yeah, no, 5.5.
Yeah.
5.5 feels gettable. It feels, yeah.
Yeah, and you get Penn State coming to your house on a short week as well. I'm not sure who Penn State plays the week before. I'm going back. Where are you, Penn State? I'm flipping through my Phil Steele digital. Okay. The Penn State plays Wisconsin at home the week before, so that doesn't factor in. I was hoping maybe they were coming off Ohio State or something to that extent. But I would lean over on the Wildcats, and like you said, fascinated just that Chip Kelly went to Northwestern in general.
So for what it's worth, I did look up Northwestern's money a little bit. They're a top 20 endowment in the country, so they do have some money there at Northwestern, despite being one of the smaller Big Ten schools. Like, they are pretty well funded. Now, how they choose to direct those funds is a different question.
You also have to remember too that probably at the time, because of how it all went down, because he was with the Raiders, right? Yeah. So he was more likely trying to just get out of the Raiders than anything. Right. And at the time that he was probably moving on, a lot of those spots for other rosters and other coaching staffs were probably filled up. So he might have just had pick of the litter, and the litter just ended up being Northwestern.
Yep. That's fair point.
You mentioned one of their swing games was Michigan State over with Sparty there. Fascinating, obviously, because of the connection with Pat Fitzgerald, but that's the other team I wanted to look at. They're a little lower. They're at 4.5 in terms of their over-under for wins this season. And that's kind of mentally where I've been at with them. Everybody's like, Pat Fitzgerald's coming back. And I know he's put together a really good staff, so I don't want to discount that. But I wasn't enamored with Pat Fitzgerald at the end of his Northwestern tenure. Obviously, I think he was like 3-20 or something like that, like 3-19, 4-20 maybe, when the last 2 years there, like, they were really bad his last couple of years. And then he took, obviously, the time off after getting fired. I don't know. Like, I'm not sold that this is the home run hire that some people wanted me to believe it was, especially when I think Jonathan Smith is a pretty good football coach that did not get a ton of time to get it worked out there.
Yeah, I mean, I like Jonathan Smith a lot at Oregon State. I used to bet on them. They had it was like a 15-1 and 16-0 against the spread streak at home at one point during his tenure. It was ridiculous. And I'll also point out on the 4.5 win total for Sparty, the unders juiced pretty heavy, minus 148 as of like an hour ago at FanDuel. I don't see many W's on the schedule. All right, just some quick numbers. So Phil Steele's national unit rankings has them 55 at QB, 49 at running back, 27 at linebacker, 60 at special teams, not even ranked in any of the other categories. I don't know how to say Alessio's last name. In fact, I went to Twitter. I tried to find a highlight package where they would pronounce it, and I couldn't find anything. But he had a pretty good run during 4 starts last year. They did go 1-3, but they played Minnesota into overtime on the road, and he had a 10-3 TDI-INT ratio, 64.2% completion percentage, 1,267 yards. So maybe this guy's pretty good, but I don't think I just their talent as a whole is not that great. I know Pat Fitzgerald up until those last couple of years had a really good tenure for, W's and L's at Northwestern, considering prior to him. But I don't think he's a very good game coach. Like, I remember the bowl game against Kentucky. I bet on that. He was driving me nuts with some of his clock management and in-game decisions. So I'm not a big fan of the hire either. And you look at the schedule, I mean, only got them 2 guaranteed wins. And look, Toledo and Eastern Michigan might give them pretty good scraps in East Lansing the first 2 weeks, but I gave them W's there. And then I've got them 2-6. I give them 4 swing games, but I don't like their chances in many of them. I'd probably say their best chance is at Rutgers in the swing games. I made Northwestern at home a swing game, maybe because they're at home. Maybe that's a better chance. Illinois at home, a swing game, and at Wisconsin, a swing game. I mean, I've got them losing at UCLA. I don't think they go out there and win. But UCLA is another one where, they have a chance to win, but I don't think they get to 5. Not that I'm going to bet it at minus 148 juice, but I think it's probably a 4-8 season.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I just thought it was fascinating the way a lot of people talk about the Pat Fitzgerald hire versus the way Vegas feels about what this team's going to be, which is a 4 or 5
it feels like
team.
a lot of people have already pushed a lot of that future benefit.
Yeah, maybe 2 or 3 years down the road. Well, as you said with the rankings, like the roster's not very good right now.
Right. And I mean, they went 4-8 last year. So
yeah, right. And lost a lot. Like a lot of that talent shipped out. That was there. So
yeah, for sure. Beat, we appreciate the time as always. Great stuff. We will talk to you next week.
All right, gentlemen. Thanks. Y'all have a great week.
That is Brian Edwards from Major Wager. We will be right back with one Michael Bruntz from Husker 24/7. That's Austin. I'm Ravi. More Hurrdat Sports Live coming up next.
Make this the summer event at Edwards Jeep and Ram, Council Bluffs and Village Point. Lease the 2026 Jeep Wrangler Sport S starting at $289 a month. Built for the road and ready for summer. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2026 Ram 1500 Bighorn starting at $399 a month or finance at 2.9% APR for 72 months. Don't miss this pitch. Slide into savings at Edwards Jeep and Ram, Council Bluffs and Village Point.
My cousin is Reese Bassinger, pitcher for West Virginia, and got to watch him yesterday come in and bottom of the 7th, get 3 outs, and shut him down. It's awesome.
How pumped were you? Did you have any idea that he was getting in yesterday's game?
No, you don't ever know. He's a reliever, so you don't know what coach is thinking. And so when I saw him in the bullpen warming up, goosebumps. So cool. So cool.
Were you sitting with the rest of your family, or is it just you down here?
Yeah, there's a whole group of us over here. Okay. Yeah, it was awesome.
So when you see the call of the bullpen, obviously Charles Schwab, that's a long walk out there. So when do you start to get maybe some nerves built up for yourself?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's like watching, filming, celebrating, yelling, nervous, all the above. Yeah.
Is there anything like that cheer you hear inside of Charles Schwab when you hear those strikeouts coming?
No. It's incredible, especially after the last 3rd out. I mean, his expression said it all, but such a great experience.
All right, so you are from Texas, but a West Virginia fan by blood. Right. Have you felt any conflicting feelings this week?
I have a lot of conflicting feelings. Yeah, my nephews are even concerned for me. So I thankfully it's not going to happen. Sadly, Texas lost last night, so the road is clear for West Virginia to go all the way now.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Next Gen Mail Medical. That's Austin. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports HQ. We are joined now by Michael Bruntz from Husker 24/7. Bruntz, how are we doing this morning?
Not bad. What's going on?
Just hanging out, surviving.
We're doing all right.
How much baseball have you watched?
College World Series?
Sure.
Very little.
Oh no.
Like 3 innings maybe.
Geez.
So yeah, a lot of not a ton of baseball right now.
I'm guessing you've been busy with something else.
You got
summer, man, running kids around everywhere. So
yeah, how are swim lessons going?
Surviving.
Okay.
Still alive.
Okay, that's good.
That is the primary goal of swim lessons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not trying to turn anybody into Michael Phelps.
Well, this is a swim team, so we're timing things here. So, yeah, we're first year. We're getting through it.
Are swim meets on the upper tier of like least enjoyable parent activities? Because I imagine, like, yeah, little kids,
little way kids high up there
have to be tough.
I'm pushing her away from track because that's like number.
That's
one.
a long day. That's a long day. Yeah.
So yeah, I think the common thread there though is a meet. Anytime there's a meet, it's way too long. We need to stop the meets.
I feel like wrestling meets have to be up there. Like wrestling meets, especially for little kids, have got to be kind of brutal because you're in a gym and you're kind of just like it's in the stuffiness of all that sort of too. But swim meets also, if you can't get out of the sun, you don't have enough shade. That's a long day. Track is up there too, obviously, with that same sentiment.
Yeah. I think it's I think I would rank it probably track, swim, and then a large gap, and then everything else. I think that's probably where I'm at.
Are you like actively trying to steer like, hey, this seems like the most palatable for dad? Is like what would that list?
I mean, I don't say it that way. I'm not that obvious about it. No, I think it's actually lined up okay with talent and interest in my own self-preservation. So there's nothing. There's very little to this point where I'm like, I don't know about that.
Well, it could be worse. You could be like at BMX, like meets or I don't know, events, stuff like that. Maybe you're into that. Maybe you're into like
be worse?
Dirt bikes and stuff. That could be fun.
Yeah, that could be. It feels hot, doesn't it? Doesn't that feel hot?
So I'm going to be honest. There's a couple things I would lean towards. I've heard dance competitions are brutal.
No, we're not going to do that. That's a no. That's no for me.
That seems that it's brutal and expensive. Like I don't. It's all
expensive. It's all expensive.
Sure, that's fair. That's why I don't have kids. One of the many reasons.
That's why.
But there's I think I'd lean indoor activities pretty heavily, just to, like, you never know what the weather's going to do, man. I remember, like, I was playing Little League baseball one time, and it just started hailing out of nowhere while we're playing, and everybody has to sprint to their cars. Like, that's terrible.
Yeah.
If I'm a parent, I'll be like, what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah.
So I think I'd lean heavy indoor activities.
Yeah, that's fair. Softball I'm okay with. I can well, we're also not like the travel ball, like,
yeah, that's
that, whatever that hell is. So I don't know.
Maybe she can get into flag football.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah. What conference did I just see? Is it the MEAC? Are they going hardcore into the flag football?
Ooh, I'm
SWAC?
not sure. I don't keep up on my MEAC news in the off season usually.
Well, that's a problem.
Oh no, the SWAC. Yeah.
I am a big SWAC guy, though.
SWAC? Was it the SWAC? Okay,
Yeah.
I couldn't remember.
The SWAC and the MEAC are both working on making their championship sports. Yeah, so they're adding it in. Look at that.
There you go.
Wow,
There you
good
go.
SWAC and MEAC.
Yeah.
Way to get out ahead of things.
Peak July sports talk radio would be guessing the schools in the MEAC.
Oh no.
I'm better at, if you give me the school, I can tell you they're in the MEAC.
Yeah.
If you make me independently identify, I'm probably going to lose after Maryland Eastern Shore.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fair. It's a lot of states and directional schools.
It's a lot of like state dash something.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of dashes in the MEAC and the
Gosh,
SWAC.
there are so many states. South Carolina State, Delaware State,
Is the
Morgan
MEAC?
State, yeah.
Oh, big Morgan State guy.
God, there's so many states.
Isn't Howard? Aren't they in the MEAC?
Are they in the MEAC or the SWAC?
Listen, I don't know if any MEAC fans are listening right now, but my God, fix your website. Jeez, this thing is terrible. Coppin State, Delaware State, Howard, Maryland Eastern Shore, Morgan State, Norfolk State, North Carolina Central, and South Carolina State.
I'm just glad I properly identified Maryland Eastern Shore as a MEAC.
Yeah, that was a good pull. That was good.
It's because they both played Nebraska and Creighton the past year.
It's because they've spent some time in Omaha recently. Bruntz, speaking of spending some time in the state of Nebraska, we've got some visitors this weekend and a little event down at the Battle of the Boneyard. Are you going to be down there?
Yeah, all day on Saturday.
What are we looking for?
Well, so who's going to be there? Part of it is 7-on-7 is notoriously fraught with, what's the best way to put this? Very changeable rosters.
Sure.
And even more so when it's over, a visit period time, even more so when, it's, middle of summer. So that's the biggest thing. Because I think with the teams that we know are going to be there, there is some potential for, some pretty big names to come into town, but who actually makes it in is what I'm looking for first.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
As I say, I think the other thing, you kind of look at, specifically which 28s and 29s are there, because I think what you saw last year for Nebraska was they got a lot of bounce with like the sophomore class, or guys that were going into their junior years last year. It's a camp, but it's essentially, an all-day unofficial visit for these players. And it's got a little bit of extra buzz to it too, just because you have the competition aspect. There's a lot of top teams that are there. And, it's a really good event. It's a really tough event to run, I think. And I think Nebraska's done a good job of maximizing it, but, there's not many chances in college recruiting where you get like 16 teams of really elite players just coming to your school for a day and seeing everything. So that's the value in the event. There's they've teased the hell out of the big surprise at the end of the tournament on Saturday night. And so we'll see. I mean, it was a good event last year, and I'm expecting it to be again this year. I mean, I think a lot of Nebraska deserves a lot of credit for being the first to move on something like this and to do it in an organized way and leveraging the shoe contracts that they have to make a lot of that happen.
Bruntz, I don't know how much you know on just like the inside of it, especially with this just being the second year of Battle of the Boneyard, but what does that experience look like for the teams that are coming in? So obviously, like you mentioned, there are, the changing names and rosters and who's coming in and who's actually on a visit for Nebraska, all that sort of stuff too. But if it's just a general 7-on-7 team that's arriving in Lincoln to compete in Battle of the Boneyard, do they get a really good feel of the facility for Nebraska? Obviously, they're playing at Memorial Stadium. How much of the insight do they get to what it looks like to be part of the Husker football program just from general competition?
Well, think of it this way. You got schools from teams from California, teams from Florida, you got teams from the East Coast, teams from across the Southeast. And a lot of those players are not going to easily make it to Nebraska. Like, that's just, the geographic realities of where Nebraska is and a lot of this talent is. So just getting them there is huge. Last year they had games inside the Hawks. They had games in Memorial Stadium. Teams were hanging out, walking through the facilities that were, actually finally done. I mean, that's the other piece of it too, is like, Nebraska having a done and finished practice facility that you can walk recruits through. It's still a relatively new thing. Like, and I think they got a lot of it's eye-opening with what they've got there. So you get to see that stuff. You get to kind of see the wow things. I'll be curious to see, what they get crowd-wise. Like, I think that'll kind of add a little bit of juice too. I know they were at 5,500 free tickets have been claimed already, and that was 2-3 weeks ago. So. Maybe they get a little nice little crowd. That was something that back in the old Friday Night Lights days that always kind of resonated with recruits, was just seeing, people that showed up in a random June night to watch camp. I mean, that's not a common thing. So, I mean, they get a sense of everything and kind of how the facilities look. They get a, meet Nebraska coaches. The coaches get to evaluate the players and kind of see how they play and compete. I know last year there were several offers that went out based on how guys performed at the camp and in the tournament. So it's a unique experience. And I think more so what's important is you just get a lot of these kids to Nebraska that on their own would not be making unofficial visits and seeing things.
Is it overstating, kind of to your point earlier about the impact that this event had last year on guys going into their junior year? Is it overstating that this was a pretty major factor last year on Ahmad Hudson kind of getting Nebraska into his final two, and some people still believe Nebraska's still in that one?
I mean, it was definitely a big event. I mean, it was good for him and Trey being able to play together on the same team. The thing you have to remember though too, in addition to the 7-on-7 tournament last year, Huddle also had their huge event as well. So Ahmad Hudson was actually in town for that event, and kind of did both. And so the combination of those two things, I think there was a lot of impact made there. And you saw the guys that were in there for that event. Albert Simeon was in for that one. Hudson, certainly a number of guys that Nebraska was kind of in the mix for. So they kind of got the double bounce from that. But yeah, I mean, I think that event and kind of getting to play with Trey was really big. Bryce Williams is in the class now. He was up here for that event last summer, and it's also, an opportunity to kind of build relationships with these 7-on-7 programs where, I mean, they do hold a lot of sway in terms of, relationships and kind of helping kids through the recruiting process. So that's another piece of it too.
You mentioned Albert Simeon there, and obviously Nebraska had him in a couple weeks ago, waiting on some decisions from guys they had in last weekend as well from Kittrell and Kuhn. Are you still holding out at some level of hope for Nebraska with the Albert Simeon situation?
Not. I think they're running further down the pack than where they've been. And part of that's just A&M. I think A&M or Notre Dame are probably the two to pay attention to. LSU certainly being closer to home is one as well, but Nebraska put their best foot forward with that. They got him back for the official visit. He unofficially visited multiple times. He actually stayed last year and went through an offensive line camp too after that event. So, I think, the other linemen you mentioned, I think are more likely at this point than Simeon. It just feels like, Nebraska took its swing, but, there's a little bit momentum with some of the other schools that are in on him.
Bruntz, do you see this as maybe being another big weekend for Nebraska to maybe garner a couple more of commits, or is this more of just getting, like you mentioned earlier, just getting kids on campus and just giving them the Nebraska experience and maybe continuing to build on some of those relationships?
Well, I mean, for the official visit weekend, it's a little bit of a different weekend just because it's going to be a lot of guys who are already committed. And that's, going to change the visit weekend a little bit. Certainly
we lose him?
We might have.
We might have lost our guy Bruntz here.
Dang. Usually that's like he gets a call or something like that. So
spot all things.
You get you back?
You still there?
Oh, there you are. We lost for a minute there,
I'm
Bruntz.
just talking.
Yeah. Could you start back on what you were saying just from the start of that?
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, I mean, I think the one to pay attention to is Khalil Taylor of the uncommitted guys. Getting him to take the visit is big. I think for a while that visit's kind of been, or the recruitment had kind of been trending towards Penn State. But Nebraska has connections in Pennsylvania. They have connections to him. He has very strong connections from playing with Trey Taylor in 7-on-7. And, I think Nebraska is going to have a decent shot to go in there and make a pretty good impact with him. I don't know if I cut out before I said it, but this weekend's a little bit of a different visit weekend because many of the official visitors are already in the class. And that kind of gives it a different feel, though. If you've got a small group of guys that are uncommitted and you're just hanging out with guys that have already raised their hand and said yes and joined the class, and that's a little bit of a different feeling around the visit. And I think that's okay. I think that maybe allows you to focus in on some of the guys that you're trying to close. So, but I think Khalil Taylor's the big one. Definitely Nebraska getting him to change around his visit schedule and to take that visit, I think shows there's some momentum there.
How much do you think it matters with the guys that will be here, not on unofficial visits, but battle at the Boneyard, to have kind of that same atmosphere you're talking about with, Trey Taylor and Torrey Pittman and Tay Ellis, like all those guys that you mentioned that are already committed? Like, how much impact do you think that has on the battle of the Boneyard guys that are going to be there as well, that aren't on official visits here?
I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where, the official visitors and the tournament, it's a little bit, it's separate, right? Like you have guys kind of going through the official visit stuff. They have their own schedule. It's not necessarily just kind of like hanging out around the facility. And so, yeah, I don't know that there's a ton of impact there. Maybe having Trey or some of those committed guys, come in and maybe bump into somebody or talk to somebody that they know. I mean, maybe there's some value there, but like last year, that they had officials in that weekend as well. It was a really busy weekend, and the guys popped in and kind of saw the stadium and saw the tournament, but it wasn't like a huge part of the visit. You know what I mean? Like it was just kind of like, hey, let's see the stadium. Here's the guys, playing, that kind of thing. So I don't know if there's a ton of impact, but I mean, if there's a 28 wide receiver that you're interested in and you're Nebraska, why not have Trey Taylor go up and talk to him? Like there's probably some value in that.
Bruntz, I'm just curious, and I know you got to get going here in a minute too, but we talk so much just in the form of the media, on social media and everything, about the public persona of Trey Taylor and kind of what he's done for the recruitment and everything. Do you know what does he have, like, lack of a better phrase, does he have like an aura around him when he talks to some of these younger recruits and guys that he's maybe not in his class, but in the 28s or even like in the future classes of these kids coming up? Does he have that presence that people recognize and these other future prospects kind of take a different stance with him when they're talking to him comparative to maybe some of the Nebraska football staff or some of the other recruiters that Nebraska has?
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about the value of peer recruiting, right? And I think that's, for everything that, is different about recruiting now than it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Like it's still a relationship business. And, part of that is, the having a relationship with the coaches and staff, and like that part's important. But I think when it's coming from one of your peers or somebody that's only a year older than you, there's a little bit more value to that. Like it's somebody that understands what your experience is. It's somebody that understands the decision that you're having to potentially make. And I think that there's certain recruits that are just really good at talking. They just kind of have that it factor. And it's, I think Trey is that way. I don't think that he, hard sells guys. But, I think he just kind of has that kind of personality that guys kind of gravitate to. Also doesn't hurt that, he's the number one quarterback in America right now. There's also that piece of it. So, when you've got a quarterback that's going to the Elite 11 and performing the way that he has, when, you have the star power behind your name, when you go to these 7-on-7 tournaments and these events and perform at a really high level, that all gets guys' attention. So, there's still a lot of value in guys kind of doing the peer recruiting thing. And I think the thing that's unique about Trey is how much from basically the time he committed to Nebraska, he's been a willing worker in that way, because he's very unique in that way, not only of how willing he is to do that, but also just the effectiveness that he has in doing it as well.
That is our guy, Michael Bruntz, Husker 24/7. Bruntz, appreciate the time as always. We'll talk to you next week.
Yep. See you guys. Take care.
Thanks, Bruntz.
That is Michael Bruntz, Husker 24/7. Let's take a quick break here.
Hold on, Shane. Did you want to ask Bruntz a question?
No, but I had the mic still on.
Okay.
Thanks for pointing it out.
No, I just wanted to make sure.
For clarification.
No, I just want to make sure for the podcast listeners.
No.
Okay.
Why the hell would I want to ask Bruntz a question?
I didn't know. I thought maybe you had something.
He doesn't want to hear from me.
I thought maybe you had a question, Shane. I'm sorry.
I'm not dying to ask any questions. I am dying to ask what's up with that hair.
I didn't want to hear from you
prank.
either, but we did anyway. So,
Is that right, Shane? I wanted to know.
Inquiring minds want to know.
That's what I was asking.
Amazing how that mic works when you turn it on. Who knows? Let's take a quick break here.
Everyone's got to relax. I'm tired of this.
I'm heading out early. I'm going to a hoe tournament.
Shane. Go to break.
We'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
Make this the summer event at Edwards Jeep and Ram, Council Bluffs and Village Point. Lease the 2026 Jeep Wrangler Sport S starting at $289 a month. Built for the road and ready for summer. This June, the savings are as big as the season. We've also got the 2026 Ram 1500 Bighorn starting at $399 a month, or finance at 2.9% APR for 72 months. Don't miss this pitch. Slide into savings at Edwards Jeep and Ram, Council Bluffs and Village Point.
My cousin is Reese Bassinger, pitcher for West Virginia, and got to watch him yesterday come in and bottom of the 7th, get 3 outs, and shut him down. It's awesome.
How pumped were you? Did you have any idea that he was getting in yesterday's game?
No, you don't ever know. He's a reliever, so you don't know what coach is thinking. And so when I saw him in the bullpen warming up, goosebumps. So cool. So cool.
Were you sitting with the rest of your family, or is it just you down here?
Yeah, there's a whole group of us over here. Okay. Yeah, it was awesome.
So when you see the call of the bullpen, obviously Charles Schwab, that's a long walk out there. So when do you start to get maybe some nerves built up for yourself?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's like watching, filming, celebrating, yelling, nervous, all the above. Yeah.
Is there anything like that cheer you hear inside of Charles Schwab when you hear those strikeouts coming?
No. It's incredible, especially after the last third out. I mean, his expression said it all, but such a great experience.
All right, so you are from Texas, but a West Virginia fan by blood. Right. Have you felt any conflicting feelings this week?
I have a lot of conflicting feelings. Yeah, my nephews are even concerned for me. So I thankfully it's not going to happen. Sadly, Texas lost last night, so the road is clear for West Virginia to go all the way now.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's awesome. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports HQ, reminding you, make sure you get out to Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. It's Thursday. It's my personal favorite special.
Tater Tot Thursday.
Nope.
Dang.
It is 8-inch one-topping pizza and a 16-ounce Cornhusker Crusher draft for just $9. You get pizza and a beer for just $9. You can't even get a beer for $9 downtown. So
no, you can't.
I'm just saying, make sure you get out to Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill for the Thursday pizza and beer combo special. Whether you're watching a little World Cup, maybe you just need something to eat that's not down in Baseball Village or from a stadium, Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill is the place to be. Make sure you go check them out.
Also underrated.
Yeah.
The brownie sundae at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill.
I've never had dessert there.
I did get it once, and I was like, this was a good move. It was like, it's not quite like skillet cookie-esque, but it's right. I love a skillet cookie.
I do love a skookie.
So for my birthday a couple weeks ago, my mom got me tiny cast irons, like the little 6-inch ones. She's like, you can make your own mini skillet cookies out of these. And I was like, can I use these for other things? She was like, I purposely bought them so you can make skillet cookies. Okay.
I mean, if she got you multiple, you could have like one designated cookie one.
Yeah. I've got 4.
And you can make like a little mini omelet one, maybe. I don't know. What else would you use it for?
So I was telling my fiance the other day that I was like, I think we could make mini deep dish pizzas out of these.
Interesting.
Have some fun
I'm not
with
a deep dish guy.
Neither am I, but I've always been intrigued of making my own. Because I feel like if I made it my way, I would like it more than I would the traditional go buy a deep dish.
I will say, and there is a distinction here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love a like deep dish pan pizza. They're fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind Detroit. Detroit style pizza is pretty
with like
good.
the thick cheese crust on the side? Yeah,
I do. I mean, you give me some thick cheese, I'm in.
So you like a thick crust, not a deep dish?
I don't generally like a thick crust. In general, I am a New York style, like thin crusts type.
I'm not a cracker crust guy.
They're fine. That's not what I want though.
Yeah.
I want like a New York style. Like it's kind of got the little bit of the undercarriage on there with like the crust on there, but like still has a little bit of a flop. Like I don't need I don't need it to be on saltine crackers.
When I say bar pizza, what do you imagine?
I'm very specific, and I don't know why. Have you ever been to Varsity?
No.
So they have Varsity. They used to have a bunch of locations around town. Now there's, I think, just a couple.
Okay.
It's Varsity, and they Roman coin pizza is what they call it. That's what I think of when I think of bar pizza. And that's closer, I think, probably to a cracker crust. It's not as. It's probably somewhere between like a cracker crust and a New York style.
Okay. Yeah. No, this is what I imagine. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. See, because when we had went to Paisans like the first time, Katie had said, this is like bar pizza to me. And I was like, I don't think that this is bar pizza.
That's like New York style.
That's what I said. I was like, I think this is, I think it's it's a in between, but it leans heavier New York style.
Especially if you don't get the specialty ones.
Yes.
If you get like pepperoni or cheese.
And you know I'm anti topping. Like I just like a good pizza.
I will say there's back in the day, Vers convinced me to try some of the ones that have some of the different toppings on them, and he did not lead me wrong. They were very, very good. I do just love their regular pepperoni pizza.
Yep.
And that
their cheese is elite.
Great cheese.
Yeah.
And that's a very like classic New York style pizza. Some of the other ones, because of the toppings and stuff, aren't as, but I don't think of them as bar pizza.
Yeah.
That's New York style pizza to me.
There's
like Domino's thin crust reminds me of bar pizza.
Have you had Pizza West? It's like out.
Yes.
It's kind of by the bar.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
bar pizza.
That's very similar to Varsity's pizza.
Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah.
Very similar.
That's what Kate loves. That she like Pizza West is like her style.
Really?
Yeah. Which isn't mine.
Yeah.
So it affects when like we're debating, because my big one is actually like I like is it Williamsburg?
Oh, Williamsburg's very good too.
Williamsburg rocks.
Really
like,
good
and
pizza.
especially if you want a fast pizza and like I'm just trying to pick up a box and go, which I'm usually not. That is kind of my go-to. It's a little bit of a drive for me, but I'm willing to make that because like it is such a high, it's such a high quality that I could get.
Yeah, it is it's a very good. I've had it like twice in the same week, and that's the only time I've had it.
That's kind of out of the way for you too.
Yeah, no, both times it was brought by somebody else.
Okay, good move. Yeah.
It's a little bit of a drive, which is probably the reason I don't have it more.
Yeah.
Like if they had a closer location, I'd probably go quite a bit.
And
more.
I've never been. This is crazy because I cover high school sports. I've been like all over. Somehow, some way, I've never been to Millard West.
Oh, okay.
And
yeah.
I've always said like, oh, the next time I just go to Millard West, I'll just stop by there because it's like kind of in that vicinity.
It's like in a couple miles. From
Yeah,
there.
but I just haven't been to Millard West for any reason. So
yeah, that is interesting.
I don't know how I keep avoiding them.
Well, so Millard West doesn't play football there, so that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
I think that's a.
But I've never hit like girls basketball there.
Sure.
I mean, they've had some really good teams. Baseball.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know how that's happened, but
Millard West has some of the nicest tennis courts in the area as well.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you know this.
No, I didn't.
Well, they have lights as well too, which is a big deal.
That makes a big deal
because not a ton of places around have lights, and so they are understandably pretty packed because of that. So hard to get on there sometimes.
There's some really underrated like tennis and pickleball courts in Omaha.
Oh yeah,
I thought I was lucky, like being out next to Prairie Lane.
Well, you're next to the Mecca.
So I'm told. I don't know if that's true. I've like driven by a couple of other pickleball courts they look real nice.
So I mean more concentration more than quality. Like they're nice pickleball courts.
Like more people conglomerate to that area.
Yes, like that is, at least it was. I haven't played pickleball regularly in a couple years now since I switched over to tennis.
Yeah, you won't play me because you're scared.
I'll play you whenever.
I offered multiple times.
You've offered one time.
Okay, I did.
You offered one time. And I was having lunch with my mom Sunday afternoons.
And I'm holding it against you now.
Sunday afternoons are lunchtime with Rose. Everybody knows this.
Ask her about the weather.
DB knows that if he calls me on Thursday night or Sunday afternoon, he's probably not getting an answer or he's getting a real quick text back. It's like, hey, you know where I'm at right now. Is this an emergency? We good?
Yep.
So that was, yes, but that's what you literally asked one time.
Yeah.
And you turned him down one time.
I do
Facts.
not
Thank you, Rico.
It's true. It is 100% rejection rate. I don't have anything against pickleball. I like playing pickleball. I much prefer tennis. I just enjoy it more.
Yeah.
But I'm not a hater. Like, I'll still go play pickleball with friends.
Yeah.
I'm going to play in the corporate games here.
Very good.
I'm going to play pickleball for Hurrdat.
You better win for us.
Right? Got to represent.
Yeah.
I actually have started playing a little more frequently to make sure I'm
right. Yeah.
I'm in practice.
Now,
here.
are you playing aggressively, or are you playing right now just like? What's your competitive nature right now?
I'm pretty competitive.
Okay.
Like I'm not one of those people that's going to throw my paddle or whatever. I threw my paddle once and I was immediately embarrassed. And I was like, I'm never doing that again. That was so dumb.
Do you have I get to ask a question.
If you want
All
to.
right, Shane.
Do you use the same bag that you use for your tennis racket?
No, those are different bags.
The bag.
Those are different bags. Yeah. I do have a specific pickleball bag.
Yeah.
And then I've got a couple tennis
the
bags.
pickleball bag can't be that heavy. I mean, it's just like,
it's
like
a lot
sack,
smaller.
like-
It's much closer to backpack size. I mean, you've seen my tennis bag.
Mhm.
Like it's a big bag.
Yeah.
But I mean, paddles are this big, tennis rackets are this big, so it's a different.
Mhm.
But no, I've got a pickleball bag, and then I've got my tennis bag obviously as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
My tennis bag's cool. I like my tennis bag a lot.
Is that the only thing you're competing in for the corporate games?
No, I'm also doing, well, we're all doing sand volleyball.
Who's we?
Well, the team, but I don't know if I like made the team yet.
Oh.
I think we're having.
You should be in charge of making the team.
Some tryouts.
We need to. Listen. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
Listen, as a town evaluator, I have a pretty good idea who should be on the team.
Thank you. Listen, I'm about winning.
Yeah.
And I am not. Listen, my personal pride, I don't need to be out there to prove anything. I'd rather say I was a part of a program that won, right? I don't care if I'm squeezing water bottles or, shining shoes or whatever. I'm be wherever I need to be.
I will say we found this out during softball, and I appreciate that about you. You're very self-aware about your abilities.
Yeah.
You're like, listen, if we need an extra, I will play, but my skill set is morale, coaching, bringing Ava to the games.
Exactly.
Which was really important to me.
Now, flag football, I can help you in flag football.
Sure,
I can do that. We had that. We understood.
Yeah.
You and me, we tossed a rock a couple of times. I felt pretty good about that.
Yeah. No, I feel like I feel like I'm a good evaluator of everybody's athletic abilities in the office. I feel like I have a pretty good sense of who I want doing that. So I do hope I get put in charge.
We still have too many young people here that believe they're their high school versions of themselves and have not understood that the regression of age and also the regression of if you're not
doing it every day.
Yes, if your upkeep isn't the same, it's a little bit different.
It kind of struck me, and this is gonna sound like bragging, and it is a little bit, but it's fine. That's not the point of it.
This will just naturally come out that I'm bragging.
It will, but I want to know that's not the point of this. So after we played sand volleyball the first time, I think it was the first time, somebody who is more athletic than I am, which is, I'm not athletic. I'm just good at sports for a normie.
Yeah.
Right. For a
your hand-eye is much better than others.
Yeah. For somebody that did not
sneaky
play
athletic.
No, that's me.
No. Yeah.
First one in, last one out.
Did not play. He's gym rat. For a guy that did not play high level college sports, anything like that. For the normal population, I'm good at sports.
Yeah.
Right. I obviously I play a lot of tennis, stuff like that, but there's a lot of people on the team that are more athletic than I am, just run faster, jump higher, all that kind of stuff. And a lot of several people that played Division II or Division I sports. One of these people asked me, I don't want to throw him under the bus, but after the first time we played volleyball, they're like, "Oh, are you sore?" And I was like, "No, no." I play tennis 5 days a week.
Yeah.
I'm not getting sore from volleyball.
Yeah.
Sand volleyball. I'm just not.
Yeah.
I don't know. We same thing when we played football. Every next day was like, "Oh man."
You're we had one of our younger guns. I was walking around here
and I'm like,
"Oh, my leg." Whatever.
We played for 40 minutes, man. Relax.
I was like,
"What are we talking?"
Call him out, Ravi. Who was it?
Caden. One was Caden.
One was Caden.
Yeah.
One was Caden. A lot of people were hurting after football. Let's not pretend, including you, Rico. But
After football?
Yeah, you could barely walk when we were done playing football.
I wasn't hurt.
No, you were. I'm talking about soreness, not injury.
Yeah. Which also notably you do often. That's why we sent you to the Women's College World Series instead of staying to play kickball.
Yeah, there was going to be some pulled hammies there. But
I'm fine.
Yeah, because you didn't play. That's why we protected you from yourself.
I recognize my limitations and I push past them regardless. I know I'm not the same athlete I once was. I don't care.
But you're old enough to recognize that. The difference is you're not frequently active enough to prevent it being a problem.
And I know the thing is, I know that. I just don't. It's I'm not one of those guys. It's I'm going to go out here and I'm going to do this and I'm going to be great. I'm I know that this is going to be bad, but I don't care.
The difference with the younger people is they're no longer active enough to prevent it from being bad. And they don't know that they're not that person anymore.
Yep.
You get to 24, 25 and you haven't done anything in 4 years. It's hey, yeah, it's harder than you think it is.
I mean, even me, I'm off just with how busy our schedule has been this week. I usually work out in the morning before the show.
So you're very fit. I wouldn't describe you as athletic, but you're very fit. You work out a lot.
The unfortunate part is I have these terrible Jacobson genes.
Oh yeah.
That we are burdened with pot bellies. And so I can't do anything about that. All of my Jacobson ancestors are yay big and just stout.
Yeah.
And then of course all of fiance's families are just tall. I'm always looking up at them.
Okay, what's going on, guys?
I'm just rooting for those genes for our kids, please.
Kenny, you're correct. Sand volleyball is deceptively running in sand is very challenging. But if you're used to like moving and rotating a lot like you do in like it was not like sand volleyball for an hour was not going to be an issue.
Yeah.
And I was just like, no, like, and the person that asked me like works out a lot, but I don't know, like I guess it's just different. And I was like, what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Well, you were also throwing like what do they call those, like backbreaker balls or whatever? Because you threw one to me like into a pole.
That was my. So we played some.
The best is when you released it, and when it was like at its high point, I heard you go, "Oh,
yes!" I realized. So
a hospital ball. That's what you sent me.
Yeah. So the problem was, if there was no pole, that's a great ball.
Yeah. No, 100%. Yes.
Like you were there. It was
in the corner.
Stride,
yeah. Right.
It
right
was
spot.
over the defender's arm. The problem was there was a volleyball pole there, and I like you said, midway in the air, I was like, oh, I might have just killed him.
The pole wasn't even what Ravi was worried about on the throw. It was the net.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was net and pole. It was like right at like the
because you would have got decapitated and then your body would have hit the pole.
Yeah, double whammy, double homicide.
I thought it was as soon as I let go, I was like, this could be a problem. I was like, that's a great ball if there's no obstacles here. There were obstacles though, unfortunately.
But see, that's what I want from our team for the corporate games is people have to be willing to risk their lives for Hurrdat Sports.
Yeah, you have to be able to put your body on the line
it's
there.
Literally for the brand.
Leave it all on the field, which is why I volunteered for pickleball.
Do we know the other teams? Can I look this up? What other teams are playing?
I don't know. We can check it out. If you are part of a business though, you guys should sign up for the corporate games because it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm doing trivia as well.
Is Berkshire Hathaway there?
I'm pretty good at trivia.
Bro, they would be like the Russian army. They would have so many people.
They would have so many. Although I bet people feel that way about us with like when we roll up to places. They're like, why are there 30 of them?
That is true.
They're like, why are there so many?
It also doesn't help that we have like actual children on our team.
Why did they bring so many kids?
Yeah.
Is this like bring your kid to work?
Okay, so here were some of the companies I played last year.
Okay, what do we got?
Bridges Trust, Colliers, Gallagher, KVC Nebraska, Method Insurance Services. I mean, these are all nerds. We can beat these guys. Triage, Senior Market Sales. You kidding me? We can't lose this.
Oh, Triage is pretty good. Triage is competitive.
We do play Children's Nebraska.
Oh, Dr. Fiance could be there,
bro. If we lost to Children's in sand volleyball, I wouldn't be able to go home. I might have to
Has she been practicing in secret?
Yes, they have a team, and they low key have some really good athletes.
Here's the problem: is a lot of doctors were really good athletes, and a lot of them stay very fit.
Hey, some of them go professional in something other than sports.
Yeah, doctoring. Yeah. No, I played a doctor in my tennis league a couple of weeks ago, and he was very fit. Like it was a problem.
Immediately, don't want to play the Union Pacific Railroad. Immediately, maybe this is generalizing. I think we could take him in trivia, but like physical activity,
the railroad.
I'm
gonna be honest. I think we're fine on the railroad,
unless this is like the corporate railroad people.
I don't think these are like the train guys.
Okay, then yeah, never mind.
I don't know, man. Train guys are pretty smart too.
It's the exact
I ain't worried about UP.
I'll say it's the exact opposite. I'm more worried about trivia than I am the physical.
Yeah. Now, if there was like a rope pull, we ain't been in the railroad.
It depends if we're getting the train guys or not.
Yeah.
I also don't think it's like, I don't know if you're imagining like a 1900s train where you're like shoveling coal into the train. I don't know that guy exists anymore.
What was the last railroad person you've talked to?
Are they still building the railroad? Are they hammering the stakes in?
Yeah,
still?
like I don't think it's the guy like with the overalls.
Don't even talk like you know Golden Spike. You guys are trying to talk John Henry and trying to talk my language, all right?
But hey, I watched Hell on Wheels.
You guys have not been to North Platte in some time.
They've got a lot of guys that work there, so I mean, they got a lot of people to choose from.
See,
they
Shane
do
knows.
have a lot of
Shane
people to choose from.
Yeah, Shane gets it.
I think you're picturing a different type of train person that is not prevalent.
I was singing very John Henry
versus the coal and soot.
Yeah. Versus the locomotive.
He's got the overalls on.
That's one of the saddest cartoons in history. I watched that as like a first grader in Sidney, Nebraska, and I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean the train killed him?
What do you mean?
And then they follow that up with Paul Bunyan right after.
Yeah,
his big axe and his big ox.
I'm not super worried about Union Pacific from that standpoint. They do have a lot of people to choose from, so that would be an issue in terms of just large populations. But my mom worked at UP. I wasn't looking around being like, oh, what an athlete.
I'm trying to think of like what what categories we would dominate in. Like long form storytelling, we could just put Sauter out there. He would win. Trying to think. Words per minute
interview.
Words per minute typing. Jacob Padilla, we'll just put that out there.
Ooh,
what's like a super
Emily,
niche
Emily
thing?
might get it.
Oh, Emily would be.
What about
really
like sentence correction?
What was that?
Grammar. JP wins grammar.
Grammar off. Oh,
Yeah,
that
JP
rock.
wins grammar for sure.
Restructure this sentence.
Yeah, if I had to, my skill set would probably be like a filibuster. It just
that'd be good.
Continue,
Yeah.
just talk nonstop.
Smoking a cigarette while stressed, probably Sasha. That'd be a good one. Yeah, she'd win that.
I think that's a good one for sure.
Vaping
would definitely be
Shane Bang.
Shane would win our vape team.
Clouds. Yeah. He didn't want to laugh at that one, but it was good.
being mean to somebody with a smile and somehow they still like you. I think Austin will win that.
I don't know. You and Austin both would have a heyday there.
I'm pretty good at getting people like after the fact upset with me because they actually realized what I said. I think that happened to Kenny yesterday when we were walking back from Zesto.
What'd you say to
I
Kenny?
asked him if he wanted to go get Arby's, but I asked it a certain way.
Oh,
And
yeah.
He looked.
He's like, why would you possibly phrase it that way?
What happened? Rage bait duos.
Podcast listeners.
Oh, now you get to use that. Now you get to use that.
Like to elaborate on.
No, I asked Kenny if he ever wanted to go eat a meat and 3 box with us.
How did you say it though?
I said, would you like to? I asked if he'd like to eat
Stop.
box at some point.
We're not doing this.
We do have to be careful. Sasha also has the day off, so she might actually be listening.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
A little bit of breaking news here at the end of the show. The Senate Commerce Committee has voted to pass the Protect College Sports Act.
Wow.
So that will get a full vote on the Senate floor. So that was getting out of committee was the obstacle to get it to a full vote there. So
so it needs another vote, or is it?
So this was just
approved?
to get out of committee. So it will get the full vote, which gives it's the first college sports bill to reach this point in the Senate. So there is still some significant, like the Big Ten and SEC still have some opposition here, but also famously the Big Ten and SEC don't have Senate seats, so they don't get a vote.
Wow, weird.
So yeah, I mean, like they can be as opposed as they want.
Do you feel like that this is in because of all the Sorsby stuff?
I think it
like timing makes sense, right?
Yeah, I think there was a kind of galvanization of like, hey, we got to figure this out, guys. This is idiotic.
I feel like I've heard more from politicians about college sports in the last like 3 weeks than I had in the past 2 years. Especially in terms of like legislation and like what's going on and why is this happening more.
Yeah.
Because you get like the one-offs every once in a while of people being like, we need to do this or whatever. And like this, protect college sports and all that other stuff has kind of been floating around. But it felt like there was like galvanized is the right term. It felt like more people were abrupt in getting their poop in a group recently because of it.
Well, yeah. So there was a stretch there when the House settlement was getting figured out, which wasn't a bill per se. It was, I think I don't exactly know how they qualified the differences there, but Pete Thamel is reporting that this is the first college sports bill to reach this point. So obviously there is a difference between this and the House settlement. I think that's some sort of like lawsuit agreement. Basically, I'm not totally sure in terms of legalese there, but I think so many people have been looking for a solution to not even just specifically the Brendan Sorsby situation, but just the larger picture of there has to be some sort of law and order here in order for college sports to continue to exist in any way that we even sort of still like it, right? Yeah. And in order to do that, I think people have started looking toward lawmakers to say, hey, clearly the judges are not going to rule in favor of the NCAA, basically regardless of the circumstances. I think a lot of people thought, well, they're going to rule against him in like eligibility when it's like a Trinidad Chambliss thing where he's claiming a medical issue and the NCAA is disagreeing with that. Like that, he's going to lose that one. You're going to lose the JUCO cases. You're going to lose most cases when it comes to getting paid. I do feel like people thought the courts would uphold like an integrity of the game thing, like gambling on the sport. And when that didn't happen, I think a lot of people kind of were like, hey, we got to we need actual legislation here to make sure this never happens again, which
now my understanding a lot of this legislation though is that it basically grants, like the federal government basically says the NCAA is a body in which you have to abide by their rules.
Yes.
And you can't just keep going back, like you're saying with the Pavia situation, with the Sorsby situation, you can't just keep coming back to our courts and saying that this is an illegal activity because they are not employees and all the antitrust stuff.
So there's a couple things here. It grants a scope. It's not full antitrust protection, but a scope of an antitrust exemption that would allow them to enforce eligibility issues, which would the Brennan Sorsby thing would fall under that. So that's a big part of this. But it also does kind of enumerate some things that the NCAA has to abide by.
Yes.
So like the 5-for-5 eligibility thing, that's in this bill.
Yeah, it moves parameters on both sides.
Yes.
It protects the NCAA, but it sets hard and set rules for them too.
And it gives the NCAA to the teeth to enforce the rules that it's putting into place. So you can't poach college coaches during their season. So the Lane Kiffin thing would be illegal, literally actually illegal. And so that's part of it too, which people have sort of been looking for a solution to that, but the NCAA wasn't really broaching that as something they were trying to fix at this point because they have so many other issues. The 5-for-5 eligibility thing, it would grant the ability to pool television money, but it is voluntary. So that's the big part that the SEC and the Big Ten aren't huge fans of because they have such a monetary lead at this point that they don't want to pool funds with other conferences that don't make as much money.
Right.
But
because they've done them themselves. I mean, rightfully so. They don't want to look backwards and be like, we've done the right things.
Yeah, they put themselves in a position. They've gotten the brands into their league that are worth the most money. And so, but again, that's a voluntary thing. It just allows you to. It does not force you to pool media revenue. So that's a part of this as well. So it's both. It both grants the NCAA the legal protection to actually enforce its rules, and it actually enumerates certain rules that the NCAA needs to put into effect as well. So it's actually a pretty big piece of legislation in that sense. I think it got marked up yesterday, so it was at 111 pages before. I don't know what it's at now, but it is, for whatever negatives it may have, I think this is a very largely positive move if it gets passed. And I think the Big Ten and SEC are being pretty short-sighted here in terms of opposing this, even though, like I said, I don't know that it's going to matter that they oppose it unless they can convince their senators to oppose it as well from their representative states, because this is a thing that, again, Congress and the Senate name bills stupid things all the time.
Yeah.
This actually is pretty fitting. The Protect College Sports Act, for what it's trying to do and what I think it would do effectively, I actually think that's a pretty apt name. And I really hope it passes. I think this is one of the last grasps, one of the last hopes that we have that college sports looks anything like we're used to and anything like the thing we fell in love with moving forward, is if this or a very similar piece of legislation passes.
I think the only question I would have is what, in all bills, legislation in Congress to get something passed, there's always caveats, there's always subheadings, there's also all that sort of stuff, right?
And amendments. Yeah,
so
100%.
What are those that got it to this stage?
Sure.
What is it going to take to get it to the next stage?
Yeah.
And what does it need to get it to officially be passed?
And it may be a completely different bill by the time we get to that point. And at that point, I may not agree with it anymore.
Yeah,
I don't even know.
Right, 100%.
I haven't even seen the markups from yesterday yet, so it might already be at that place. But from the original intent of this, I do think it's a very positive bill for college sports. And I hope it is, at least in its spirit, kept intact to a large enough degree to offer the protections that I think college sports needs right now.
I agree with you, though, that I feel like it is the correct step in the right direction. Like, regardless of whatever you want to say about it, like, just the fact that we are at this point right now, it feels like the proceedings are going in a general direction that is, in fact, intuitive to its name the bill.
And I'm going to be honest with you, even if this does end up with the Big Ten and the SEC having to pool media rights money with other conferences, long term, I get that doesn't allow the Big Ten to run away and hide, or the SEC to run away and hide in terms of financials. I actually don't think that's the big negative either. I really don't. I think it would give other schools and other conferences, and we're only talking about power conferences here in terms of pooling. We're not talking about like the you know, the SWAC and the MEAC, like we were talking about earlier with Brian Edwards, like they're not getting a cut of the Big Ten money, right? We're talking about Big 12, ACC. I don't even think the Pac-12 is included, but I could be wrong there. But Big Ten and SEC, where it's just a matter of, hey, the major four conferences are going to pool resources and have more even payouts. I don't even think it's strictly even payouts, although I don't know that they've totally decided that. You know, I get that. The schools that are in a advantageous position financially are going to continue to be in an advantageous position financially, even if they're splitting the money with other conferences. Like, it's not like you're going to go from 80 to 0. You might go from like 80 million a year to $65 million a year, which is a significant amount, right? I understand that. But long term, the teams that have money are going to be able to make up that difference. Like, I'm not super concerned about that. I get why the Big Ten and the SEC don't want it. I do think it's short-sighted to oppose the entire bill, especially when that part of it is voluntary, because there's so many other positives in there that I think actually do protect you long-term. Because, I mean, how many coaches have we heard in the last, like, month be like, hey, if we keep doing this, like, college football is in real trouble in the next 24 months.
Yeah.
Right? Some people have set a shorter time frame than that even. But, like, so if that's the case, you need something like this to happen.
Yeah.
And
I think it has been refreshing, too, that I've been back and forth on how I've thought about this, but now that everything is kind of moving in this direction, like you mentioned, I want to take everything as face value. And maybe it is the optimist in me too. But the simple fact that a lot of these coaches, especially in college football, are coming out and saying, like, we need to protect the sport and not we need to protect the Big Ten. We need to protect Indiana football. We need to protect whatever. They're saying we need to protect college football. And they've continued to come out and say, like, the sport needs saved in this way, this way, this way, or this way. I think that regardless of what maybe their personal advocacy and intent is, I think that generally speaking, they probably do share a high level of concern of where the trends of the sport were going.
Yeah, and that's again part of the thing that I got so frustrated with about the Texas Tech thing in the last couple of weeks, right? Is they couldn't give a bleepity bleep about the rest of college football, right? They sat there understanding, yep, this is terrible for college football. This is terrible for all sports everywhere, by the way, but especially for college football, especially for college sports. Doesn't matter. We're going to plow ahead and do this anyway. That's part of the thing that made me so mad about it, is it was so short-sighted and so, like, egocentrically focused to say, we care so much about winning a couple more games this year that we are willing to light the entire system on fire. Like, that's so dumb. It is incredibly stupid. And that's, you know, Brennan Sorsby's agent comes out yesterday, and we can talk about this more tomorrow, but he comes out yesterday and he's like, hey, why isn't Cincinnati in trouble? He thinks they knew. And they played him anyway. And if that's the case, they should be in trouble. Like, this isn't a Texas Tech vendetta for me. I don't give a shit about Texas Tech enough to have a vendetta against them. They don't play in the Big Ten. I loved Texas Tech when Mike Leach was there. If anything, I have like net positive views of Texas Tech over the course of my lifetime. I was a big Michael Crabtree fan. Like, net positive views of Texas Tech over most of my life. But this was just a thing you cannot do, like, if you love college sports. And so, like, yeah, if Cincinnati knew and played him anyway, Cincinnati should be in a hell of a lot of trouble too. Like, if you can prove they knew and played a guy that bet on games, yes, bring the hammer on them too. This is not a I hate Texas Tech thing. This is a I hate things that put in jeopardy something that I dearly love, which is college football and college sports in general. So, like, yes, I don't know if I believe his agent, but if he's right and they knew, and I'll be honest, I kind of think they did, because my original theory is that they were the ones that leaked it.
Yeah, you said that right away from the beginning.
I still think that's true.
Yep.
Like, I think
they do play each other.
I think they're in the same conference, and Sorsby kind of pissed him off by not paying the buyout. Like, they had to, I think, sue him for the buyout of $1 million, where it's like, hey, if you probably just paid the money, we're probably not having this conversation right now. But like, I thought that was true from the beginning. So it would not surprise me if Cincinnati knew and played him anyway, in which case they should get hammered for it. If Indiana knew and played, and I mean, he played a little bit his second year at Indiana, not to the degree that he played after that at Cincinnati, but like, yeah, if they knew and played him anyway, yeah, they should get hammered too. Anybody that plays somebody that they knowingly bet on college football should get hammered for it. There is no, like, specific vitriol for Texas Tech, only in the case of that they were trying to get away with it. That's the, like, Otherwise, like hammer everybody that does that.
Yeah.
That's terrible for It's terrible for all sports.
Mhm.
And anybody that cares about sports on a level besides just like, I just want my team to win. Like if you actually love sports, like this is a thing that you should want to. Like anybody that does this has to get hammered. Like lifetime bans all around. Like it cannot be a thing that you allow to happen. Just you can't.
What do we finish?
Shane's playing the music. I guess time to go. We'll be back tomorrow.
He's got a tournament to get to.
We'll talk. So do we actually.
Yeah.
We've got Brennan Sorsby. We've got some people are high on Nebraska's offensive line. We've got On3 ranking the Big Ten coaches. Lots of stuff to get to. And of course, we'll give you a little recap of the 7-on-7 that we see as well.
And Tim Verghese.
And our guy, Tim Verghese. Sauter will be joining us a little earlier tomorrow so that he can continue with the championships and the 7-on-7. Great stuff to look forward to tomorrow on Hurrdat Sports Live. That's Austin. I'm Ravi. We'll be back in the morning.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.